amigos on the debate will be polishing. Amigos on the debate will be.
You can't kill my confidence, you can't give a fuck, that's what they do. You can't kill my confidence, you can't give a fuck, that's what they do. You can't kill my confidence, you can't give a fuck, that's what they tell me. All the fucks I ever gave them.
Well, what up, Chad? How we doing this evening? Oh boy, FPS Diesel have had a rough day, okay? You know, I had a lot of pulls on Nikkei today. And then I failed. I didn't get ready. Okay. I didn't get a big bitch that likes to eat cake in Nikkei, okay? It's totally over. It's literally over. She's not a bitch. She's not a bitch. She's a gourmand, okay? You guys gotta understand. She's a high class lady in Nikkei. But yeah, it is so over, chat. Dude, I saw one of you, Fernando, was that you? You posted your pulls in the server? And I was like, bruh! I was dying. Oh, God. I literally was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was astounded, honestly. But yeah, I'm at that point in Nikkei where I'm at like a hard level cap and I'm like really struggling to get to the next part, and it's just not. I'm just miffed. I'm just miffed. I also was putting together some stuff today. None of it matters for you, but I was putting it together, and then some of it like doesn't work, and I gotta refund it to fucking Amazon, and I'm just like, yeah. You know, because it's just annoying. Like, there's no local B&H for me to go and pick up camera equipment either. So now I have to go repackage all this stuff and then like go put it in a fucking box and then go ship it off through like Staples or some stuff. And it's just like, play Limbus Company. You know, the thing is that everybody's like, play Limbus Company. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just want to go on fake dates with waifus with guns and not feet stuff, because Girls Frontline is just like all feet stuff. There's just too much feet stuff in Girls Frontline. It's weird. I can't like. I'm just like, what? Like, dude. It's also, the pull rates in that are just like, eh. It's just eh. It's just really bad. I'm not interested in some of the stuff in there. The gameplay is really good in Girls Frontline too. I'll say that. So anyway, that's enough of me complaining about me wanting a woman to sit on my face. This is not that stream. I haven't had that crash out moment yet. Now, recently, chat, I covered this guy, my boy Diaz, who went by MisAnthro a long time ago. MisAnthro has a long history. Basically, a lot of what MisAnthro is infamous for is basically getting involved in people's business and getting involved in drama, and then harassing people who he dislikes the takes of, right? So he will go out of his way to find somebody bitching about him from a year ago, reply on a tweet completely unrelated to that, to talk about how they have a bad take in like fucking like Star Wars, right? He's like one of those culture warrior guys, right? Speaking of culture warrior guys, I was perusing the like culture warrior like reviewers. You guys remember Possum Reviews? I was checking out his channel. That guy likes no movies. He likes no movies. He hates all movies. Any movie make him think. Possum get mad. Possum no like when movie make think, but also movie bad. Didn't he have more? Yeah, well, this is his new channel after he's rebranded. We examined some of his Snow White stuff and his Shrek video, and that was enough for him to appear that day. So we'll see whether or not he shows up today. He tends to have alt accounts that show up, and he'll basically hop on an alt account and then have somebody argue on his behalf, right? And yeah, so that's really who MisAnthro is. That's a TLDR. He used to work with Just a Robot. He would get into slap fights and harass other people on the internet, and he would basically just be an annoying little shitter. But I've been incredibly interested with his opinions and takes as an individual. Unfortunately, he seems to only watch things that are terrible or for children. And also, yes, the acronym for MisAnthro is MAP. And yes, that is horrible. But when he worked with Jar, he went by Zaid. So if you ever heard Jar talk about Zaid, this is who he's talking about, okay? But there's a lot here, and Well, you know what? Let's just ease into it. We'll just ease into it. We'll talk about. We'll watch this fucking Just a Robot breaking, cutting ties with Just a Robot video. Diesel, I just did a 10 pool and got ready. Your stream gave me the luck I needed. Thank you. Well, you know what? It's glad that everybody else gets it from me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. With a small search of people discovering my new channel.
Dude, he really does sound like Jar. He sounds like Jar, like in another dimension. He's literally like Jar, like instead of Invincible War, it's Just a Robot War, and it's different guys from Jar's ethno state, dude. Dude, he's like a cross between Ben Shapiro and Just a Robot, okay?
I figured now would be a good time to make a video explaining some recent happenings that led me to making this new channel. At first I wanted to wait, but I decided to do this sooner rather than later since this channel will eventually attract the attention of my enemies, haters, and harassers anyway.
Dude, his enemies, haters, and harassers. By the way, all these enemies, haters, and harassers is a completely self-inflicted thing that he did to himself, all right? Zaid gets so ass mad if you don't have the correct opinions on things like Simpsons or Star Wars or the Disney live action remakes, okay? That he literally will flip out and harass you, right? So I am poking fun at this because I think it's ridiculous that this guy thinks that he's worthy of having enemies because he's not. He's a worthless person. But he thinks he's worth it, right? When people make passing comments about how your opinions are bad or that you have shit takes, that isn't them harassing you or being a villain. That's them criticizing you for you being fucking nuts.
I'm just gonna be short and to the point. Back in 2023, I went by the name of Zaid Magenta. I used to go by a different name, but I got rid of it because I came
It was MisAnthro, and he got rid of it because the acronym was MAP.
to realize how cringe it is. Not sure why I thought it was cool, but it is what it is.
Misanthrop, general dislike plus distrust in humanity. Pony. I was really a stupid brony at the time. Does that mean, oh, Chris went over MisAnthropony today. You know what's interesting is that we have an Internet Explorers group chat, and Kristen Ark did not mention once today about him even being online. So we didn't record an episode today, but it wasn't my fault. I'm not throwing shade anywhere. I'm just saying.
I have had something of a reputation, nothing big or large. I didn't have like over 100,000 subscribers or anything like that, but still. I have had something of a reputation of—
Well, Beckett was asleep, all right? Beckett was asleep. To throw Beckett under the bus, he was asleep.
being critical of horrible movies, TV shows, and video games in ways that the Twitter crowd finds offensive, as I am more—
No, okay, this guy is such a fucking idiot. Zaid, if you show up, get on, and I will debate you. Please, I want to debate you. Oh my god. All right, guys, the reason that Zaid, the reason people were mad with your takes on media is because your takes amounted to like the most basic takes ever, okay? Right? You would say like, oh, fucking Cinderella is black now, and then the entire discussion would end there. And then maybe you would go on this long diatribe by like why Cinderella being white is important, even though the whiteness or blackness of her has nothing to do with anything.
Temple for the funny goblin guy.
Thank you for that. I will make sure to do a poll later.
more objective and final in my analysis compared to most other reviewers.
Right? Like you can criticize, and I'm sure that a lot of these Disney live action remakes are bad and that they have structural problems as films, right? But you actually present it in a way that makes me want to take the contrarian viewpoint of you because you're so fucking annoying that I'm just like, I gotta be on the opposite side of this guy because whatever he's selling, I don't want, you know?
It's to the ire of people like this guy who thinks the internet should be an open-minded place where everyone is accepted and respected for their opinions and the media they like regardless of how wrong they are.
Why? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? What this guy do? I don't want to defend this guy without being like, oh boy, he's got like really bad takes. That's so debate pervert of you, Diesel. Oh my god, are you secretly Twitch poll? This guy's opinions are just that bad, okay? I don't want to debate politics. I want to debate why Snow White, which is obviously a bad movie, is a good movie. Not for any, like, reason other than it would be funny to see him lose his marbles over it. I don't want to defend this guy, and then I click on his channel, and it's like, oh, Why Cuties is a great movie or something. Spite. Yes, spite is a great way to put it. Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look this guy up. Let's see if he has some weird, like, back and forth with Zaid. There's no fucking channel of this guy. Is it Geek Legion of Doom? Is that what this is now? This can't be that channel. This is literally a glub shitto. Let me go on Blue Sky. Follow me on Blue Sky, I guess. You know, I haven't posted on there in a bit. The last thing I posted was a thirst trap, but I guess you can follow my Blue Sky. All right. So, boom. Let's look it up. If I don't find this guy, I'm going to be very upset. Movie Lord. All right. Okay, this is like not really you know, it's just like some fucking fat zillennial guy that is like for trans rights. That's it. I was expecting to see some like ridiculous hot takes on here, but there's nothing really here. I was expecting something. I was kind of like, you know, I was gonna be like, whoa. But no, this is just like a random Twitter. Literally, this is a random person. This is quite literally a random person that he is singling out in his video.
While at the same time having fits of rage towards and the media they like regardless of how wrong they are, while
okay, let's be real. You can have the most dog-ass takes on media, I guess, unless it's something that, like, fundamentally defies the laws of, like, or not even the laws, but, like, the rules of film. I guess you're entitled to those opinions as long as you can, you know, elaborate on them.
At the same time, I'm having fit.
And one other thing, opinions are like assholes, motherfucker. Everyone has one. So heaven fucking forbid people like the newer Star Wars movies or Steven Universe. It doesn't make them bad people. Deal with it. Okay, we're in. Okay, all right. I am an accepting man who feels that people with disabilities should be treated just like everybody else. And I believe that it is wrong to mock a person specifically for being mentally disabled. But if I were throwing stones, we're in like extra chromosomal argument Twitter space. Okay, I can't, like, I guess you can like the new Star Wars movies, but saying that in the same breath as Steven Universe is very comedic.
Sense of rage.
I'm gonna say it right now. If Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy came out today, it would have been treated just as badly as Rings of Power. Do not lie to me and say otherwise. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. This guy, what is this guy? Is this guy like the anti-Zaid? Is this guy the anti-Zaid where he has like the opposite woke take that Zaid has? Right? Where like MisAnthropody would be like Rings of Power bad because Black Elf. This guy would be like Rings of Power good because Black Elf.
Worse people.
Actually, there's a really weird overhating trend going on with critics, and frankly, that baffles me. Aquaman, Mario Bros, Wish, The Marvels, Indiana Jones, Ant-Man, Argyle, and now this. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Who's paying this guy? Who at the Walt Disney Corporation is paying this person to talk about this? This cannot be real. I refuse to believe it. Shit to okay movies. I mean, Ant-Man was okay if we're talking about the first Ant-Man. Argyle is not good at all. Argyle is not good. Mario Bros is okay. Aquaman. I did not like Aquaman. I thought that was a very visually ugly movie. The Marvels also is like, the Marvels epitomizes like the Phase 4 Marvel slop content, okay? Which is worse, Aquaman or Aquaman 2? That's like, we're really splitting hairs, you know? One of the biggest issues in dealing with Zaid is the people who obsess over him are ridiculous and absurd. These people unironically thinks he needs to be in prison for being mean about media.
Who credit.
Okay, and then this guy is arguing, Wish, Indy, and Ant-Man are pretty terrible, so no, they weren't. Get off the Disney hate train. Shit's getting old. All right, you know, I don't understand. I am too old to get this passionate about media anymore. Is that like a weird thing to say? I don't really like have love for properties like that anymore. Like, I enjoy things like 40K, but like I could put 40K down right now and go enjoy something else and not be pressed about it, you know? Like I like my life is deeper than the media I consume, you know? Diesel, it means you have a life. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm also kind of mentioning that to like put into perspective here how like a normal person would look at these things. Me saying I'm normal after I spent like the first 5 minutes of stream talking about what I talked about, but you know, with good reason. I think it's a little outrageous to get this passionate about media on both sides, right?
Besides,
and then he okay, who's paying that guy? Who at Disney's paying that guy, huh?
disposable.
Something I've noticed with tons of people whining on YouTube about King Magnifico from Wish and his villain song. Do you think it's legit criticism or just grifters going, how dare they make the white guy a villain? I don't think anybody saw Wish. That's what I think. I don't think a single person in the theater saw Wish, actually. I've got love for stuff, but both Zaid and these dorks are ridiculous about it. In an unreleased call, I literally told Zaid that Lucas will go to his grave not knowing or caring who he is. Listen, dude, George Lucas is gonna be mummified in like fucking Jedi's robes all right, with a lightsaber and a gold-plated coffin, all right, and nobody will ever know. If I recall correctly, that Steve Idiot is the one Jar showed in his response video. Ah. But yeah, I thought King... Okay, I haven't seen Wish, but the words Magnifico, like maybe he's like Italian or like, you know, a little browner. Like there's a little bit of brown in that guy.
All Hollywood.
Nobody asked you to... this guy's great. Listen, I know we're talking about Zaid right now, but this guy's got a... This guy's like literally like inverse Zaid.
Garbage he happened.
All right. This guy's gotta be fake, dude. This is not real. This guy's got all the inverse takes of like just the worst movies of the past decade. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire debuts with 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, lowest score to franchise. Critics didn't care for the last one, and yet everyone else did. Plus, they gave glowing reviews to the 2016 reboot, and look how bad that was.
The likes.
Oh, boy.
Such as Disney's Star Wars.
All right, I'll stop slowing it down. Because I'm really hung up on this Steve guy who's also just like a literal random glupshitto.
Or Rings of Power.
I can't. I'm sorry. This is so fucking funny. Oh, it's just Chris Pine. Okay, this is King Magnifico from Wish, by the way. His views on certain movies and shows like Star Wars and She-Hulk have been really toxic. This guy is not real. This is a fake person. Steve kept running to that creepy reading to tell on Zaid for being mean because I never took any of that specific stuff seriously. Oh my god. Listen, man, if you go on TurboTax this season and you pay your taxes, I don't want to hear none of this attitude. This attitude's ridiculous.
I'm not really sure how I managed to draw in their attention because I never really wanted to. I mean, sure, a couple of my videos managed to break over 100,000 views, but I never expected that to happen. Like, I never thought my re-review of The Last Jedi was gonna get almost 1 million views. That was completely by accident. I just wanted to do a video updating my critiques on it since the sequel trilogy ended. My videos, as well as my old Twitter account, attracted the ire of people who don't like being told that something is objectively bad or how they're stupid for having horrible opinions. So they felt the need to make me some sort of supervillain in their online communities. This, of course...
My good friend, I don't think we would classify you as a supervillain. I think you're a creature worth milking. That's what I think.
Led to all sorts of targeted harassment from potentially tens of thousands of people. From false accusations of me being racist for criticizing...
I would bet money that if not explicitly racist, you're implicitly racist.
Criticizing the industry's actually racist practice of blackwashing white characters.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Let me phrase it like this. What about Tinkerbell's character requires her being white or black if it doesn't matter the color of their skin in the original? Then it is okay for you to change it, in my opinion. Okay. Now, I think it is bad to discriminate and choose people for things on the basis of the color of their skin, that is discrimination. But casting a black person to play Tinkerbell is not in it of itself a racist act. Okay? Perhaps that actor was the best for the job. That is true. But perhaps they were not. Who knows? But you don't know. But DEI bad, Diesel. See, and then also I would say to that, were you going to like the live action remake of Peter Pan anyway? And I think the answer to that question, given The Lion King, is a resounding no. And that the race doesn't matter. And that there's something inherently soulless about these remakes that has very little to do with DEI.
To lies about me being some sort of sexist for criticizing badly written characters that just happen to be strong, independent women. To lies about me being a far right-wing Trump supporter for talking about that one time Modern Simpsons tried shoving anti-Trump garbage down our throats.
Wait until this guy finds out what they said about Bill Clinton on The Simpsons. Or George Bush, you know, or any of the presidents. What about the Family Guy? I mean, if we want to really be pedantic about it. Yeah, I will also say calling it a live action Lion King is wild. But that's it. I don't know why they want to market it like that.
And I swear I'm not kidding here, comparing me to that guy who killed me.
That's what Hitler's mindset was towards the Jews. It's your mind's subjective interpretation, which shows that should happen to. You have expectations, and the Simpsons. Okay, all right, okay, all right. What's the internet adage? Is that Poe's law? What's the internet adage about the length of an argument leading to? Hold on. No, it is a. It's called Godwin's law. It's called Godwin's law. This is what it is. Godwin's law or rule, short for Godwin's law of Nazi analogs, is an internet adage asserting an online discussion grows longer. The probability of a comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches 1. Oh boy. You know what? This is kind of him.
Failed again, SpongeBob loser pants.
Dude, you know how hard this is gonna hit on Zaid, considering the only thing he watches is cartoons.
Wait a minute! Look! He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time.
And there's the pickles from last time, too.
Oh my god.
Millions of people because
And don't get me wrong, by the way, about the whole race swapping thing, there are definitely times where you're sitting there and you're going like, all right, buddy, like we see what you're doing. Like, that's not, the minority community does not welcome you to the cookout, okay? Like, no, it's not happening. Right? But it's just the existence of a black Tinkerbell does not negate the existence of a white Tinkerbell, right? It's not like a fucking, like a multiplying a positive by a negative equaling 0, right?
they didn't fit his vision of a perfect German empire.
Now all we need is someone to call him a pedophile, and Diesel's law will also apply.
For gatekeeping The Simpsons from the retards who think the show's corpse being milked for the last 25 years isn't a bad thing.
Oh, all right. Listen, man. I think if this is where we're at with the Simpsons Discord, why he talk like that? Oh, you know, he simply built different. Really.
To man-children trying to paint me as one of the worst people currently on the internet for saying Space Jam 2 is a bad movie.
The thing is, right, and I tried to watch Space Jam 2. I made it 40 minutes into Space Jam 2 before I was like, I'm good. I don't want to put myself through this. I'm a big person. I'm gonna leave now, right? But I can't really muster up a lot of sympathy for whatever his arguments were, because they probably weren't very good arguments.
Honestly, let's just move on to the next part, because if I list out all of them, we're gonna be here for the rest of the year. These people would relentlessly and viciously attack me in some shape or form because they were personally offended by something I said about, I don't know, one of the disposable pieces of Hollywood.
The Star Wars sequel trilogy, The Last of Us Part 2, Steven Universe Season 5, Nostalgia Critic. What could he possibly say to have... What could he possibly say about Nostalgia Critic that would have mustered up any ire from anybody? Velma. Nobody's coming to the defense of these things. Like, you have to be going out of your way to find these people. The Disney live action remakes, MLP Generation 5, Space Jam 2, Netflix's Cuties. Oh, God forbid he's being attacked by the Cuties fans, guys. The horrible plot twist where Discord was Grogar in the MLP G4. Okay, what the fuck? Can we talk about that in English? What the fuck is that? Is that like oh, Discord is the little dragon from My Little Pony. So Discord was actually some other character? What was I only know the cool song, Discord. You know that one? I know that.
What trash?
Whoa, spoilers. I only know 20% cooler. Yeah, that too.
Baba Booey.
Honestly, I'd be more willing to have a conversation about these topics on something most people consider very good. But like all this stuff is disliked anyway.
I know, this is like all stuff that people would like, you know, they get out the pitchforks for to beat to death with like the hammers and stuff, you know? I mean, I still haven't found a pony who asked. By the way, Lunar Moon Tea, I saw you. Somebody showed your comment in a video I watched today. Okay, it was about Empress Teresa. I was watching a video about the Empress Teresa from that book guy, and I saw your fucking comment in the video, and I'm like, that's a viewer. Yeah, what's his name? Nick Carlson or whatever? He did like a review of Empress Teresa and the author, and your fucking comment shows up. I guess you were asking for it. Oh, okay. So this is, guys, this is Grogar for context. Just so we're all on the same page about this. I also, by the way, I haven't played Last of Us 2. I haven't seen anything that makes Last of Us 2 look like it's incompetent. Okay, other than like the first act twist that happens in Last of Us 2. I don't really know what's super problematic, because the story is a really straightforward story about like revenge and why you have to stop the cycle of revenge. Like, I don't even, like, I know that is the theme of it. It is very clearly the theme. I think that, no, because this audience doesn't give a shit about Neil Druckmann and the Jewish question, okay? I don't think it has anything to do with that in this case.
Currently listed on screen, wanting to ruin my image as a YouTube reviewer out of spite. And you might say, oh, get over it, stop caring about what other people think of you. But that's really hard to do when it gets to the point of them sending you 15-minute long messages telling you to... Let's just call it that thing that happens to James in one of...
What is this? What is this? Volcanic chaos is a disturbed individual. What is this? What am I looking at? Okay, this is such a fucking... This is such a... Okay, I need a break. Let's... Okay. So, first of all, Dr. Dreadlock being invincible is really funny. Unless he's supposed to be Zandale, bulletproof. Okay? Because if he's bulletproof, that's also that's actually worse if he's bulletproof in this case. Jar being Adam Eve is the funniest shit ever. And I don't really understand the concept behind making Zaid MisAnthro. Well, he didn't steal the invincible costume. I guess that's kind of like a spoiler. He takes over as Invincible for a time period at one point, and he takes on the name of Invincible. But MisAnthro being Duplicate is very interesting. Unless that's supposed to be Multi-Paul, you know?
The Silent Hill 2 endings. Dealing with these people every time I criticized something was causing me a lot of stress, and that stress eventually evolved into anger. I decided that I'm no longer going to tolerate the vile nonsense these people are doing to me because I didn't validate their feelings on some corporate product made by privileged Hollywood scum. I was putting together plans for a video talking about...
Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. This guy is crazy. Wow, this is fucking insane. Oh my god. Diesel map is Multi-Paul because of all of his alts he uses to fight children with. Oh my god. Dude, he's got literally files on top of files of all of his haters, dude. You think I got a folder now, chat? Do you think I got a folder now of like all my mean takes about media to him? You're crazy, dude. You're crazy. This is mental illness. Dude, we got Adam Schmitty, Andrew Clark, we have Casey Batman, Depressed Luigi is in here. The Furby Squawk. Dude, you know, this isn't even the first YouTuber who's got a folder of me, all right? There's at least like 3 guys who have folders of my like bad takes or like worst moments or, you know, whenever I said something outrageous on stream.
Lost in Worlds 15 celebrates 3 months of membership. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Defiantly not mentally ill.
Dude, Furby Squawk is in here? Not Jazzy TIE Fighter, dude. Jazzy TIE Fighter. Dude, they got Yoshi Player in here? It's crazy. I love his content. Dude, that's insane. This one is shared. He shared this one. He shared the Thad Master one. Only 3? Okay, let's see. Illuminati. Tyler's definitely got one on me. This guy. Social Repose might have had one on me back in the day. There might be some other guy who like seeds uncontrollably like about me, you know? White has one on me. Scarlet wouldn't be able to put one together on me, but you know. Oh, Nani has one on me. I know Nani has one on me, okay? I have that on very good authority.
About these people, but somewhere along the way I ended up going rogue, which led to me making a lot of horrible decisions. The thing about my anger is that it reached a boiling point that I was just piloting on my impulse.
Now, chat, I want to say that this guy said he wouldn't talk about his haters anymore because he swore on his father's ashes that he wouldn't talk about his enemies anymore. So he's now, I guess this is like desecrating a sworn oath to his dead father, you know?
Pulses, leading me to want to lash out at my haters and harassers immediately rather than waiting for that video to be finished. As a result,
Azothan? Yeah, Azothan probably has one on me.
I made burner account after burner account after burner account.
My life was a lot less insane when I wasn't a streamer. I don't know what it is about streaming, but it's like constantly insane stuff all the time from insane people. All right, I really don't understand like the difference in that. It just like self-perpetuates. I don't understand.
After burner account. All sorts of alts on Twitter and DeviantArt created to lash out at the people who wanted to ruin my image as a reviewer because I made a negative review of something they like, or because I didn't fit their rhetoric on how—
Dude, he's talking about alts coming after him, but he has alts going after everybody else.
And people on the internet should be treated for their opinions on dog shit. The most infamous incident being the one I had with Cartoonshi. This eventually reached Lio Convoy, who ripped into me for this and talked me—
Yo, Lio, it's you!
into taking a 6 to 9 month hiatus from YouTube. I did what he said, and for a while things were getting better. Until—
No, he swore to not make alts on his father's ashes, which means he still failed. I mean, yeah, we know he failed because he was here last time.
my anger reached a boiling point again.
Leo's live now? Oh, man.
Because my haters and harassers continued to come at me for whatever reason. This resulted in me doing the alt accounts thing again, lashing out angrily at members of my hatedom. And at one point, I sent a couple of them a message with me saying they should be shot by gangs in pretty graphic detail. This would result in me getting ripped into by Lio Convoy again. This time—
no shit.
he made it clear that he was no longer helping me and he was going to cut me out of his life. And I will admit he was right to do that. I was a horrible friend to a lot of people.
Videos usually take so long, the drama is halfway over by the time you make it. With streams, the back and forth isn't in the falling action of the drama.
That's true, that's true.
Not just him. Being dishonest and manipulative and trying to hide things behind their backs while I kept lashing out at my haters. I was also doing an extremely horrible job of managing my anger, saying things that I shouldn't have said and doing things I shouldn't have done. I tried making a community post and video confessing to this, but it wasn't any good. The worst part of this was when I filmed myself making a vow on my father's ashes.
Oh my god. Oh my god, this is aged so bad. Oh my god.
Instead of keeping it to myself. This was a horrible, horrible mistake. Even if I didn't
No shit. No shit. Like, okay, let's put aside the pretense that you recorded this and then uploaded it to YouTube like some crazy person, okay? Right? Let's just say you did this in the comfort and quiet of your own home where nobody else was watching but you and your God up in heaven, okay? Do you realize how fucking sick and twisted it is to make and like to swear something on your dead father's ashes and then go around and then immediately break that like a year later? Like you should be put in a padded room, okay? You have some like affliction that requires you to do these things that are completely self-destructive. Like you need to get help. Like that's like beyond reasonable. Like nobody would ever approve of that kind of behavior, especially not your father, okay? Who would be fucking lividly disgusted by that kind of behavior. I'm just assuming.
And for it to come off that way, it was an act of emotional manipulation. I never should have made that vow public, and I never should have used my—
Oh, okay, so it was an emotionally manipulative thing you did. That's even worse.
Father as a prop for that video. It was awful, and I felt really guilty over it. This led me to deciding that the best thing to do was to delete my channel, to sever myself from YouTube and actually tend to other factors in my life. Work, exercise, staying in touch with family, and it was a pretty good several months. Almost a year, actually. Things have indeed gotten better in my personal life, from my relationships with family to my physique to my place at work.
I am very curious to see this physique as the resident gym guy. Okay, I would love to know what kind of weight Zaid's pushing.
Even after losing both my parents to illness, we still stuck together and supported each other. And I am thankful to have those things in my life. But somewhere along the way, I have to confess that I felt something missing. This hole that couldn't seem to be filled no matter what I did.
Let's be real, you know, his dad died knowing his son was a burden, a monster, a stalker, a complete disappointment. Falgi, stop. You're literally sitting here trying to ape the content from me. What is this?
It turned out that this whole was my passion for media criticism. It wasn't something I did for money or the hope that I would get hundreds of thousands of views. It was something that I did because I simply had fun doing it. Unlike 90% of people in the community who only think that all opinions are valid and need to be respected regardless of how wrong they are.
Oh, okay, listen. You can't, like, the take is that people are allowed to have their opinions. You don't need to respect those opinions, but you can't handle those opinions existing in opposition to you, right? So it's not about like respecting the opinion or not, or all opinions are valid, right? It's that if there's an opinion existing here and it's your opinion, and there's another opinion existing somewhere else, and they're not interacting with each other at all, right? You will go out of your way to complain about that opinion, even though the only person like dragging you into it is you, right? Like, let's look at this one, for example, right? All I want from MisAnthro is to just be like chivalrous and respect other people's opinions. That's legit the only reason why he's harassing people, because they like a Star Wars film and a video game. That's pathetic, right? So, hey, you don't need to be like, I like people who like Star Wars, but you looked up your name, you looked up the name MisAnthro, screenshotted it, saved it in a folder, and then reproduced it into this video because the opinion bothered you so much. They didn't tag you, they tagged chivalrous. You would have never seen this. Okay, you would have never seen this unless you looked it up. You went out of your way to find an opinion that was doing nothing to you. All right? Oh, were they talking bad about you? Sure, but they weren't trying to like get you in there to have like some debate festival or something.
I actually give a shit about movies, television, animation, and video games as expressive art forms.
You don't ever talk about anything you like.
Critiquing them, analyzing them, breaking them down to evaluate their thematic value, figuring out what makes something good and what makes something bad. It was something that felt productive and helped me to appreciate the media I consumed a lot more. I wanted to try and get back into that passion, analyzing individual elements of these works of fiction while building an audience. It was something that I was simply passionate about, and it gives me something to do with my time other than just cleaning the house all day.
You should get a different hobby. I don't think media criticism is for you because respectfully, you lack media literacy.
Wanted to take another shot at it, to start over with a new YouTube channel and get back into media criticism. Of course, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Coming back to YouTube wasn't going to be a walk in the park because of the actual, need to highlight that specific word because
for continuing to prove why you're one of the worst people on the internet. In all honesty, SaberSpark's video on Space Jam: A New Legacy was better than MisAnthro. Okay. Well, this one did tag you, so, you know, I'll give you that. This person was trying to make sure you saw it. But also, if anybody is like, dude, the new Space Jam movie is good, I don't know what to tell you. You really shouldn't care what they think. Crazy the type of life you realize is possible to live when you see this stuff. God. And I can't even, I don't even think SaberSpark was positive of Space Jam. I can't imagine a SaberSpark video where he says Space Jam: A New Legacy is a good movie.
Remember, 95% of the backlash I get is from negative IQ Twitter roaches who got histrionic because I didn't validate their feelings on something. The actual bad things I did in 2022 and 2023. That's when I was approached by Just a Robot, who at the time was a YouTuber who was respected and liked well enough in spite of his flaws. He provided me with an avenue for getting back into media criticism without the need to make a new YouTube.
I'm passionate about people hearing my opinion, and I want to feel like I am an opinion that has value and or is taken seriously. You know, Cam, you phrased that very well, right? So it almost sounds like he wants his opinion respected. Oh, but he doesn't think other people's opinions should be respected. Funny that. Funny that. He wants to be the tastemaker, but nobody else is allowed to give contradictory things.
YouTube channel. He offered to re-upload some of my old content on his YouTube channel and even host some new and original content that I created, such as the reactions to the new Snow White trailer, and I thought it was a pretty good idea. I would get to return to my passion for reviewing works of fiction, and any money made off of it would go to someone who honestly needs it more than I do. It went pretty well with my new...
Just the robot needs the money more than Zaid does. You gotta understand, man. All right. Just the robot needed it so that way he could buy off, like... Buy the dealer's Adderall and Coke to stay up during the day and melatonin to fall asleep at night.
Snow White video and look back on the cuties incident, garnering a huge amount of reception and positive feedback, showing that in spite of my anger problems and past drama, that there are still people out there who are simply interested in my reviews. It really meant a lot to me that after I acted like a jackass, I was still—
okay, listen, buddy, if you're, like, critiquing people who like cuties, you might as well be shooting fish in a barrel, alright?
Still being given a chance to pursue my passion for media analysis and reviewing art. I don't think I have the proper words to express that feeling you get when you're given a shot that you probably don't deserve in spite of all the odds that were stacked against you. I was fully content with not making another YouTube channel and simply co-working with Jar, helping his channel stay active while he was occupied with personal matters in his life. And then he decided to engage in pedophile apologia.
Dude, Diesel's law strikes again. Diesel's law strikes again. Many such cases.
And his attempt to defend Cine Bear's actions with a 14-year-old.
Dude, this guy is like, let me put this in let me put this in ways that only Zaid would understand, okay? Dude, the Jar Cine Bear situation was like an Infinity War level event, okay? It was like the blip, all right? Jar is basically Thanos when you think about it, okay? And the 5 Infinity Stones that he's got on his glove are just 5 different women from the internet that he was trying to sleep with on Discord.
Every single possible bad decision that you can make was made, and I could not bring myself to support him anymore due to my moral values conflicting with something this obviously messed up. Initially, I did want to genuinely support him because he was a good friend to me, and he's also done things for another person I care about, and I appreciate the things he did to make sure they weren't hurting them.
Everything Jar does is like reciprocal, right? And it's like he does it with the intent to get something in return, right? Make no mistakes. When you do something for Jar, Jar thinks he's getting the good end of the deal, okay? Jar's like art of the dealing his way through things. Okay, so Zaid, you were giving him free content that he was making bread off of. That was an advantageous relationship for him to have. All right, and he only kept you around because you were valuable as an asset, not as a friend or a person. All right, and I gotta be honest, I do think that you were much like him and you would do the same thing.
But the things he did to defend Cine Bear and the way he responded to the backlash was not something to ignore or overlook. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't block him immediately. Maybe it's because there was a part—
Oh, you didn't block him immediately? Interesting. It's almost like he only... Perhaps he only blocked Jar after he noticed that the winds were going a different way.
Part of me that felt sorry for him, or I felt like I owed him for helping that person I care about and making sure they didn't hurt themselves, and I thought that maybe he'd be willing to learn from this. Obviously, I wasn't gonna support him as a YouTuber anymore, but maybe we could have still had some casual talks if he comes to realize the severity of what he did with the Cine Bear thing. But if this is how he's gonna react to people being upset with him for engaging in pedophile apologia, I have no reason to believe how—
He has... Dude, this guy puts some very interesting emphasis on syllables, you know?
Sincere he is in any attempt to apologize for his screw-up. That's when I knew that my only remaining option was to make a new YouTube channel with a new name. I began with uploading my review of the Silent Hill 2 remake on Halloween Day, and from there I made 2 more videos about the PS5 Pro and my re-edited video on the Cuties incident.
I gotta be honest, I really am curious to see what he could possibly have to say about a fucking video game console. Alright?
Including my support for—
Other than they got no games on it, I guess, right?
And now we're all caught up. So what happened—
I mean, that's not true. It got games on it, alright? That's just like a meme at this rate.
Next? Well, I'm still gonna be making content for anyone who comes across this channel. I already have a lot of ideas for things I want to do. a ranking of the Disney live-action remakes, a video about Shadow the Hedgehog before the third movie comes out, a video about the top 10 worst pieces of media this year.
This is my problem with media criticism on YouTube, okay? Right? It's all like everybody's like complaining about everything, okay? Nobody ever sits down and is like, I really enjoyed a thing. They always go out of their way to watch like the fucking bad movies. All right. I don't know if these are bad or good movies, to be honest, right? But it's like people hear that Madam Web sucks, go out to watch Madam Web knowing it sucks, and then go and then like get mad in a YouTube video for Madam Web. They get like, they get really fucking mad about it, dude.
My own interpretation of a top 10 list of worst animated sequels, and of course, my big review of this.
I know there's no money in positivity, and it's, you know, it's how things be, but I can still sit here and be like, whatever. I mean, I don't really watch a lot of media criticism YouTube personally. It's just not, I'm just not interested in it because like, it's either one of two ways. It's either like some guy who's like pearl clutching and really angry, or it's like some highfalutin intellectual who's being like kind of preachy about it, and it's just like, dude, is it good or bad, you know? So these days I barely even watch movies, to be honest. I'll watch like a limited series every now and again, but it gets very like hard to choose.
Single worst movie to come out in the 2010s, The Rise of Skywalker. It's gonna be a slow burn by nature given I'm starting over on a channel that barely anyone knows about, but I did talk it over with some friends whose identities I will keep secret for the sake of their privacy and so they don't get bum rushed by anyone in my hatedom no doubt watching this. And yeah, you heard right, I still have friends, because they understand that in spite of my anger or past drama or issues regarding my hatedom that I'm not some sort of
Dude, first of all, the biggest like red flag about this guy is that he's talking about his hatedom, right? If you like dedicate time to like the haters like that, there's something like fundamentally just like fucking dysfunctional about you, right? Yandere Dev did it. Fucking the guy who made Emperor Teresa, that shit book, did it. Okay, he has like a whole section dedicated to his haters, right? These guys always have like a section dedicated to their haters and why their haters are wrong, right? But if you just do whatever and you keep doing what you're doing and then not like being an asshole to people online, you're really not going to have haters like that. Obviously, people are going to dislike you because they'll just dislike you, and not everybody jives with everybody. But like he's going out of his way to address the haters.
Nefarious evil that needs to be stopped. They said they were okay with me starting over on YouTube as long as I didn't repeat any of the Twitter and DeviantArt alt account stuff that I did last year. And I do wish to make a genuine effort to keep my word on that. I owe it to them, and I also owe it to a lot of people. People who cared about my well-being and whose trust I betrayed. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The actual bad stuff that I did in 2022 and 2023 was indeed horrible, and I understand people not trusting me because of the severity of my actions from those 2 years. It was immoral of me to keep making alt after alt behind people's backs and being dishonest with people who were supposed to be my friends. And I also spent a lot of that time saying things I shouldn't have said and doing things I shouldn't have done. I'm not trying to make this into an apology video because I know from experience that apology videos never work. But I do think that—
Well, the problem is that you didn't even mean it when you are, because you've done it again. We've seen it.
It's important to at least let anyone watching this know that I do hold remorse for those actions I took. I am sorry about it, and even if people don't forgive me, I should at least confess to those wrongdoings. There's also another thing I want to do, even though it may cause some people to raise their eyebrows. I was hoping to look for a way to get in contact with Rosa Ray Ramsey so I can give her a direct apology for my—
Oh boy. They don't want to talk to you. I don't know who that is. All right, but they don't want to talk to you. They blocked you. There is no direct apology. Stop trying to get around a block to apologize to somebody that doesn't want to fucking talk to you. The closure is you don't talk to that person anymore. It's gone. It's done. What's wrong with you? You're doing the same thing.
Involvement in that 4-hour Senate call. It is true that what she did was horrible, refusing to take proper action against a child predator in favor of getting in slap fights with people on Twitter. But that 4-hour Senate call was absolutely dreaded. I really should have realized sooner how wrong it was to allow it to happen. It was just a sick excuse for the Senate to receive repulsive pleasure from the suffering of a vulnerable individual. It had nothing to do with addressing the actual problem with Rosa's actions. It's something that I should do because I have to at least own up to my involvement in that situation. Especially—
Rosa Ray Ramsey was someone who called him out for stalking and death threats over Star Wars, and he got his ACC friends to get her into a call because she happened to be a mod. Oh, okay.
As I now feel very embarrassed for having ever been involved in that horrible server.
She was so mentally ill, she needed a caretaker. Oh.
How all those people ended up turning out to be, some pretty evil pieces of shit. People ended up turning out to be, some...
This is... I know Leo's streaming right now, but it's when I see stuff like this. I'm sorry. MisAnthro Pony's ACC. This is ACC.
Pretty evil.
Wait a second. I've seen this app before. This is the viewer. I've seen this person in chat before.
Evil pieces of shit. Now here's one thing I'm sure a lot of people familiar with who I am are gonna be asking. Am I still working on that Addendum video, or will it ever be done in the future?
Well, you are holding... You're holding on to like a humongous folder, so probably.
Well, no, but the full answer to that is a little bit more complicated. As I said in
it really should just be no. The answer should be no. It shouldn't be no, but actually it's more complicated. The answer is no.
Comment, what I really want to focus on now is getting back into my passion for reviewing works of fiction. Movies, TV shows, animation, and video games as expressive art forms. I don't want to stray away from that so soon after starting this channel, so you will be seeing more reviews of stuff than anything else for a long time. Also, I'm not gonna make this huge Addendum documentary thing that's gonna be like several hours long.
You should totally do that. Please do that. Please do that. Please do that. Please. Please. Please make the Addendum doc.
Making a video that long for these people would be extremely ludicrous, and it would also take away from the time I should be spending.
Well, ludicrous is the wrong word to use. The word you want to use is lucrative. Not for you, but me, actually. So you should do it.
Working on reviews.
The streets need it.
Do still plan on talking about these people and bringing their vile actions to light at some point.
Guys, I just want to clarify that the people in this equation that have like vile actions are people that had the wrong opinion on The Last Jedi. Okay, he's literally ass mad about people who had a take on The Last Jedi from like a decade ago. Not a decade, but 5 years ago. Okay.
They should be talked about, but it's gonna be different from what a lot of people would assume was gonna be some sort of feature-length documentary. It's something for another time. As for right now, I really just want to focus on getting back into reviewing things. For those of you discovering this channel and want to stick around because you genuinely care about my reviews, thank you. Even if it's not a whole lot of people, I truly appreciate those who support my work and my contribution to media criticism. I'm gonna do my best to remain productive and not take a lot of time to make content. I just need time to get back into a consistent schedule. I hope you find what you're looking for in my content, and I look forward to providing you with more critiques and analysis in the coming years. But before I go, there is one other thing I should address, as it's inevitably going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. There's gonna be a lot of people who will inevitably discover this channel who will demand I get off the internet for my past actions, as if I'm more of a threat to their day-to-day lives than
Oh my god, why do you give a shit what Minkstar9021 has to say? Why do you care? Do you think I sit around here and read every single mean comment that people leave? Like, that's insane. Why would I torture myself with that?
Trump is...
This cocksucker has been harassing me on and off ever since I criticized Nostalgia Critic's review of The Jungle Book. One time he went into my comment section and told me he'd be giving me a shotgun shell for a birthday gift. Take a wild guess what he meant by that. Not to be that guy, but if we're talking about glass houses.
Promising to do when he gets back in the White House. So let me refer those people to that pinned comment I alluded to earlier. If you're only here to leave a dislike or a comment berating me for whatever drama I was involved in before I deleted my original channel, kindly fuck off.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, this is such a lolcow behavior, dude. Stop engaging with them. Stop engaging with them. It is so easy to win this. Just stop playing. Stop playing the game.
I'm not a child predator. I haven't tried to molest anybody.
Why are we talking about that?
I haven't engaged in any sort of pedophile apologia or any grooming. I didn't steal money from anyone. I'm not racist, sexist, homophobic, or trans.
I don't know about those. I think you're at least one of those ist. You know, I think you might be one of them.
Phobic in any way. I didn't threaten to go to someone's house to kill them. I didn't have any sort of sexual.
Yeah, I know you didn't threaten to go to someone's house to kill them. You just wish that other people would do it for you.
Vulgar conversations with any kids. I have not sexually assaulted, abused, or harassed.
Why are we bringing this up so much? Why do you keep mentioning how much you're not a sex criminal?
Anyone. I didn't dox anyone's private information.
I 100% believe this guy has doxed people. There's no fucking way he hasn't. He 100% has. He stalks people. 100%.
I didn't harbor any sexual deviance in a Discord server for months on end.
Why do you keep mentioning this? What is going on? Why do you keep mentioning all the sexual deviancy you don't do?
Didn't withhold information on any predators.
Why do you keep saying that? Stop it.
I didn't spread any anti-mask or anti-vaccine propaganda.
Well, yeah, I don't think you spread it, but I totally think that you think it was something else.
I never tried to orbit someone underage and wait until they were 18 to try and hook up with them.
Well, you did harass somebody who was under 18, though. That is something you did.
I didn't slut shame any grooming victims.
Well, I totally believe that you probably have done that before.
I didn't write any fan fictions glorifying adults doing the deed with kids.
Why do you keep mentioning
Whatever
this?
I got myself into, at its absolute worst, it was simply petty bullshit caused by anger problems mixed with shitty impulse control. It is a fucking school walk compared to what's been done by millions of other YouTubers, and I'm getting pretty sick and tired of everyone blowing it out of proportion as if I did something deeply sinister and evil.
I don't think you're deeply sinister and evil, but let's bring this to terms you can understand. You are the box ghost of annoying people on the internet. That is, you are the box ghost, okay?
Right now, I simply want to get back into my passion for reviewing works of art and their thematic value while building an audience. I'm not making videos about anything else at the moment, so you have no reason to be here except to demonize me, as you've already wrapped up so much ego in viciously attacking me or spreading hatred for me.
Well, I think your ideas and opinions are bad, so poo.
You can bring up past controversies as much as you want, but I've been around long enough to know exactly what this is. Don't try to make this about the
Really, you know exactly what this is, so then you wouldn't have even posted this.
actually bad stuff I got myself into in 2022 and 2023. Things that have already been dealt with and answered for. This is another case of you freaks trying to terrorize me off the internet.
He left out the autistic part of autistic freaks, just for clarification to any of you second monitor Andys. I need to moisturize my lips.
Because you were offended by something I said about Disney's Star Wars, The Last of Us Part 2, Steven Universe, Nostalgia Critic.
This guy's really passionate about things meant for people that maximize at the age of 13. Listen, man, I used to really like.
Here's my normal dono. Does the lavender lemonade have plant bits in it?
Does it have what in it? I couldn't. Hold on, let me read that. I do believe there's a little bit of lavender in it. Yeah, there's like a little bit of lavender petals or whatever. There's no one going to bat for Nostalgia Critic passionately. There's no one going to bat for Nostalgia Critic unironically. Like, he's a comedy. Like, I don't know. Like, you watch the Wall review and you're just like, what is going on here? Like, that's just, like, who's going to take this guy seriously ever? Not to mention all the stuff that happened with this channel and stuff and all the collaborators and stuff like that. But, you know, outside of that, I don't know who takes Nostalgia Critic as like a serious critique channel. Doug Walker is clearly not a serious critic about anything.
Velma, the Disney live-action remakes, Modern Simpsons.
You could fill the Nostalgia Critic defense. I can't even defend Nostalgia Critic because he so fundamentally doesn't understand Pink Floyd's The Wall.
MLPG 5, Discord's character assassination at the end of MLPG 4, Space Jam 2, Netflix.
And nobody is coming to the defense of Space Jam 2.
His stance on endorsing CP, or the tone in which I said it. It's been that way for almost 10 years, so I have no reason to believe it's any different now. Also, don't try to make any jokes about how I need to get a real job or a life or touch grass, because—
Oh my god, this guy is, like, doing all the things he shouldn't right now. Oh my god. Doug, walk him down, Walker. Dog Walker. Oh. Yeah, not only... What do you do for your job, Zaid? Okay? Because I don't think there's enough grass involved in that job for you to touch, and I think you should touch more of it. Okay? Clearly, the job isn't taxing enough that you need to get online and get into piss fighting matches with randos on the internet. Oh my god.
I have all three of those covered. I have an—
Literally, when you talk like this sounds like you're lying through your teeth. Every time you say, like, I have all these things. I touch grass, I go outside, I work, I do things.
Real life job where I work outdoors for 25 to 30 hours a week. And unlike you—
Falgi, stop baiting. You're baiting right now.
fat losers who gain weight while using Twitter or Discord or Blue Sky as a substitute for actual human contact all day, I actually have a life outside of the internet.
Yeah, let me guess. You're gonna tell me that you have a girlfriend, right? Something like that?
I've been cleaning the house, tending to the dogs, running errands, paying bills, helping family, and living independently now that both my parents are gone.
Oh boy, no, you 25, you in the system. You sound like you're in the system. Is there somebody helping you? There's some outside force of social worker helping you in your daily life?
So yeah, I have a lot.
It kind of reads like that. Especially when you wrote that living independently thing.
Life, a job, and I touch plenty of grass. Do you? Oh.
Dude, he's really bringing it back, dude. Oh, I touch grass, do you?
And one more thing. If you're still affiliating with Lyle Convoy or any of the old Senate after everything they were exposed for since the start of the year, I have no reason to listen to you. That shit was 100 times worse than anything I did with those alts. I'm sure you guys were doing all sorts of victory laps at the news and media. Deleting my old channel, throwing celebrations, and acting as if you actually accomplished something. Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah, he does have like the train enthusiast voice, yes.
You didn't accomplish jack shit. I'm still here. I'm still gonna be reviewing stuff no matter how uncomfortable or attacked you feel about
oh my god, I so want to talk to this guy so bad. I want to talk to this guy so bad. I'm so interested in knowing I want to know the inner machinations of his mind, okay?
Like you're morally superior to me is absolutely laughable when I have plenty of proof that you guys have never been any better.
This is quite literally just some random glub shitto. Why? Oh, this glub shitto is arguing on Twitter. I've really proven that my haters are much worse than me. Okay.
Proof that I am more than happy to show people when the time is right. As horrible as Lyle Convoy turned out to be, I will admit that he was right about one thing. He was the only one who actually did anything about my rotten behavior regarding those alt accounts. It wasn't you idiots with your autistic Twitter/DeviantArt meltdowns or your infantile stop being mean to people with different opinions YouTube rants.
Well, like, who the fuck is ever going to take your opinion seriously if you're not willing to listen to other people's opinions? You know, it's just like, oh, yeah, you want to be respected as a reviewer, but you don't want to respect other people's reviews? Get the fuck out of here then. Like, you can disagree on something, but like, are you kidding me?
If you can't handle being told the truth, that's not—
You can't handle people that have contradicting worldviews to you. It's going to blow your mind when you find out that people live different lives in different places. Did you know that they actually also have an inner monologue too? And sometimes that thing called a conscience tells them to not say crazy things on the internet. Shocking, I know. You might actually have that too, and I think you might want to start listening to it.
My fault? That's your problem. Get fucked, you evil consumerist shit stains.
Okay, I really cannot wait for this hater video because it is definitely going to come. It is definitely going to come. All right, it is going to come, and FPS Diesel will rue today as he comes after me. Oh boy. Nah, me first, please, lol. You got Dan burst. Can't I get one? Oh boy. All right, we don't got a lot to go off here, right? But I feel addendum to returning to YouTube. Oh, there's a follow-up. Hold on.
Before I get to the main subject of discussion, I'd like to give a shout out to a friend's GoFundMe. I've been doing it for—
Oh my god. Someone in the chat last time I covered this was like, what are they giving out, lobotomies at that restaurant?
a while now, and I want to make sure they get the financial support they need. Please donate any amount of money you can or spread awareness for it. Their family restaurant would appreciate the help, and I would also—
He's probably going to use the Gooner thing against you, thinking it's actually an own. I could, yeah. Yeah, I'm always waiting for somebody to use that, and then my only response is going to be like, and?
Appreciate any level of donation provided for them. A link to it will be provided in the description. Last year I made a video talking about a series of events that led to the deletion of my old channel and the creation of my new one. It covered the drama I got myself into as a result of my bad decision making and how I used to be affiliated with Just a Robot. In that time,
I really think that even if you weren't affiliated with Just a Robot, you would still be in a majorly the same position, okay? You uploading to Jar only got more eyes on you, but you had plenty of eyes on you before.
Jar released a dreadful response video where he felt the need to throw in a whole bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with his decision to defend Cine Bear after she had sexual conversations with—
Interesting screenshot here. Do I have a fart fetish?
the 14-year-old while sending them porn. Now, I'm not gonna go over that whole video as a lot of people on YouTube are in the process of ripping it to pieces already, but I mainly want to focus on something that people in the comments have been asking me. In his video, Jar mentioned how he sent his Cine Bear video to several people in his spaces, including myself, and he also provided a screen cap to prove that he did this. Since then, a couple of people have been asking me why I didn't immediately condemn Jar for this, and I've been responding to them as calmly as I can. It was suggested by one of my viewers that I make—
Hold on. Let me go read that. Let me go read that. Because I really want to know what his take was, okay?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, here we go. Yo, not sure if you remember me, but I'm the guy that left that ER Ma Su reference on your old Last Jedi, blah, blah, blah. Wanted to ask you a little something. So Jar has recently uploaded a video response with receipts that came into my curiosity as something he mentioned regarding you. Apparently, he sent you the Cine video to look over via Discord, and you were watching it while playing a game, along with a Discord screenshot to prove it, and yet you cut ties with Jar after he was getting backlash after uploading the vid. Is there something I'm missing? Did you approve the vid? If you did see it, why didn't you stop him? Did you even see all of it, or just bits and pieces? Or were you just conflicted/busy? Or is Jar deliberately being a snake and leaving out certain context? That wouldn't surprise me, since Jar's videos as of now have been ripped apart and clowned on by several people for being completely dishonest. Oh boy. So I said this earlier, right? I said this earlier where I was like, okay, Zaid MisAnthropony is definitely kind of, he took the position with Jar where he probably was like approving of the video before it came out, but then once he saw everybody like bashing it, he switched sides, right? I think he was viewing his relationship with Jar just as transactional as Jar viewed him. All right. So I think that this is all going to be copium, but we're going to see what he said, right? And I'm going to see if my opinion is correct, but I do think it was that. I think he views that relationship very transactionally. And if Jar got away with the Cine Bear stuff, he wouldn't have cared. 100% he wouldn't have cared. Because it just doesn't fit with his MO, personally. I could see him just ignoring it. There's a long story behind this. It's going to be a very hard pill for me to swallow, but if more people start coming to me because of the Jar's latest and horrible, might I add, video, I at least owe you an explanation. I suggest grabbing some food and something to drink, as it's a very long story. I also think I'll have to divide this response into parts because otherwise YouTube will auto-delete it. The first time I heard about the Cine Bear drama, it was brought... Hold on, let's just see if he reads this.
A video explaining this in further detail, and after hearing them out, I do believe it would be appropriate to make a video detailing this situation more thoroughly. Not everyone is gonna go through my comment section to see the explanation I gave, but it would also be more appropriate to put this into words rather than text. I just needed time to think about how I would word this because the subject matter involved in this is extremely delicate. This is something I don't like thinking back to because it just makes me feel really sad. And if I'm going to make this video, I can't afford to let personal feelings get in the way because this is an important and delicate situation. Something that requires level-headed thinking free of any charge of anger or disgust. As I said in the previous video,
this is actually one of, this one's really easy, actually.
cut ties with Jar after the way he responded to the backlash for the Cine Bear video. I don't believe it would have been appropriate to stay on good terms with him after the video itself and the way he tried to downplay the severity of what he did. Now, the purpose of that video wasn't to go into every single minute detail of what happened. I wanted it to be a simple explanation of things that led to me making a new channel after the year I spent away from YouTube. But with the people who have asked me about it since that video, I figured it would be best to go into more detail so there's no further confusion. Now here's the thing about the Cine Bear incident. The first time I heard about it, it was through a text message a friend sent me, and at the time, I didn't even know who Cine Bear was, or at least I wasn't familiar with who she was. All I knew about her is that she made a video about the infamous Senate call with Rosary.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, fucking ACC drama requires that you have like a PhD level understanding of this stupid shit.
Ramsey, but I never really saw that video. I just saw the thumbnail and went about my business. Upon talking about this with said friend, I decided to confront Jar for his side on it. He explained to me how there was some sort of misunderstanding in how people were perceiving the situation. To him, it wasn't about whether or not Cine Bear did something.
Okay, this is a completely different thing than he was saying in his fucking comments, so I guess we're gonna fucking have to read the comments now. Oh wait, it was brought to my attention. Wait a second, what? That's he leaves out a very important detail that he has in these. The first time I heard about the Cine Bear drama, it was brought to my attention by Jar's girlfriend. So Jar's girlfriend knew about the Cine Bear drama? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, I think that was known, but it's been a while, so my memory is a bit hazy on it now. In all honesty, I didn't even know about Cine Bear's existence until I got that text message. The only thing I remember about her was how she made a video about the Senate call, which I never watched and ended up forgetting about. It sounded fishy, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because I thought doing anything else would make me a bad friend. She knew because she watched both videos. Yeah, she required the fart section got added, right? He explained to me how while Cine Bear did bad things, her being a child predator was some sort of misconception. As someone who has been harassed with false accusations of being a child predator just for being a fan of MLP, I admitted I empathized with how the situation sounded. Oh my god. Oh. I was inclined to believe Cine Bear's story because I have also been accused of things. I did not want to look into it. I simply was going to just trust somebody based on something very serious. You must understand, as a fan of MLP, these things could happen very frequently to me. I would never engage in any kind of pedophile apologia. But Jar's girlfriend also informed me that everyone in Jar's spaces, including her, was telling him not to make that video. Really? Jar's girlfriend was like, Jar, honey, don't put up the video where you are flirting with the groomer. I grabbed a bunch of links for videos covering Cine Bear thing and gave them to him, asking him to watch the videos so that his research wouldn't be misinformative. The day came that he sent me an unlisted link, and I listened to it. I watched the first several minutes, but then I just listened to it, because I was busy cleaning around my house. Because of how little I knew about what was actually happening throughout the video, I thought the video had good research. I'm sorry, I literally didn't know anything that was going on in the Jar Cine Bear stuff and I was able to pick up that Jar's video was like the most hackneyed shit ever. Okay. From what I heard, a humongous mistake I would come to regret. And then Kumo leaked it all, and all hell broke loose. I thought I would look into the backlash the video was getting from multiple YouTubers, including Chud Logic. Eventually coming across the chat logs. I was thoroughly disgusted with myself for ever giving Jar the benefit of the doubt, so I got into a call with him. I told him I wouldn't be supporting him anymore because I could not bring myself to support a YouTuber who is engaged in pedophile apologia. He likes this word a lot. Okay, so let's break it down to brass tacks, right? He listened to this fucking video, thought the video was fine, which it really doesn't require like some mental genius to know that the Jar video is fucking terrible. All right. Even the information given in that video makes Cine Bear out to sound like the most guilty motherfucker on planet Earth. All right. Like if Jar wanted to do a video making Cine Bear look bad, he would make that video. Okay. That's how bad the video is. And you don't need to know anything about the Cine Bear situation to know that Jar's video is fucking terrible. Okay. So if he listened to that video and was fine with it and then only did something about it after he noticed everybody was tearing Jar to pieces, I'm sorry. Are you fucking kidding me? Like this guy clearly was like, he didn't fucking care. And it was just advantageous for him to be friends with Jar because Jar was a big channel and would put his fucking YouTube content out there. Okay. Like he like this is very obvious. I don't know. If you know anything about me, you know why this is a hot button topic for me. He then tried to make it sound like she wasn't a child predator. I promise I'll come back to this later. And we ended the call with an agreement. As soon as he finished his response video, he would remove my content from his channel. He said he needed the money, and I agreed. I still don't know what it was, or why I thought it was a good idea. But as I was making steps to start my own channel, I thought he'd be able to shout it out to at least help me get my first foot up. Yeah, dude, the entire time he was viewing this as like the only reason he didn't like it was just a fucking Jar was an advantageous relationship for him to have. That's why he didn't want to drop Jar. Period. I did this because I thought we could still be friends, and it would give his fans a new outlet for video essays. Yeah, they're really missing out. He agreed to do a shout out for my channel, and I agreed to wait, but at some point something clicked in my head, and I went, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I went to him and asserted myself in telling him I wanted my stuff gone from his spaces now. He did that, and the only thing I asked him to do was the thumbnails for my videos I made for him. And I found it very suspicious. He said, please wait until my response video is done. It should have taken 30 seconds for him to send a PNG or JPEG. After letting that sit in my head for a while, I came to the realization Jar was only trying to focus on getting the heat off his back. Yeah, no shit. He was worried about saving what was left of his career at that point. Despite the very real reality, he wouldn't be coming back from that. Why do you think that you can come back from defending Cine Bear like that? God, this is the most long-winded thing ever. Okay. Jesus. But I will touch upon the section where he talks about me, as I pretty much perfectly summed up how disingenuous the whole video was. For calling me a pedo apologist in your new channel, in your cuties re-upload from my channel. Notice how he capitalized my in the sentence there. It comes across as him trying to take credit for that video, and that it belonged to him. Okay, this is just like, this is quite literally the Yap Master General. I'm going to go back to listening to the video now.
Wrong or irresponsible. She obviously did. It was about whether or not Cine Bear was a child predator or a pedophile. Now admittedly this whole thing sounded fishy to me, but I still wanted to hear him out because at the time, I trusted him. I've been harassed with false accusations of child predation and pedophilia myself, so a part of me emphasized with how this sounded.
Why is that being levied at MisAnthro? Does he have some like horrid past or take that I'm just missing out on?
However, there were still some concerns for how this video could go.
How's your day been, bro? You know, it's I did complain a lot at the beginning of the stream because I didn't pull the gacha waifu of my choice, but you know, we live.
So I wanted to make sure that his research was accurate. I went and grabbed links for all
at the time, I benefited from him.
Sorts of videos covering the drama and sent them to Jar. and I suggested he look over them before making the video. After that, it was just a matter of waiting. I was in.
It is me, Zaid Mr. Anthropony. I have unfortunately stuck myself down inside the well. I will be needing the last 4 numbers of your social security number on the back of your card.
In the middle of working on a review.
I don't know why I confused social security card and credit card, but whatever.
For the Silent Hill 2 remake for his channel when he sent me the video unlisted. He asked me to watch it and I did watch it for the first several minutes. But for reasons I can't go into here as they're extremely personal, me and my roommate were caught up in a lot of heavy house cleaning. I thought it would be
me and my roommate were caught up in a lot of heavy house.
possible for me to listen to the video while I cleaned up.
I unfortunately left all my original first-generation Funko Pops along the floor next to my MLP Goon Cave. Rarity was looking mighty crusty that day, and so I decided to clean the house.
As it would save both of us time. I didn't think it was necessary to see the visuals of the video.
I had finished. I had stopped watching because I was hard, and I decided that I would be listening to an audio rendition of Sweet Apple Massacre. Did you see that Leon read some ads for Keffel's BDSM gear? Well, you see, Leon sucks and I hate him, so...
I believe the most important part was the research Jar put into it, which was something I could easily pick up from the audio. And after the video was done, I got in touch with Jar and told him I thought it was well researched. The only part I didn't listen to was that infamous interview he did with Cine Bear.
Dude, he missed the best part.
Skipped over it and went to the closing thoughts because I didn't...
Who's Leon? He's an irrelevant shill for Coffee Brand Coffee, which is the Quarter Rings Coffee Company. And he has been, for some reason, almost with no reason whatsoever, deliberately rude to me for like no fucking reason. So I'm just gonna give it back.
I think that part was important.
By rude, I mean he said that I look like a pedophile, and then he got like mad that I was selling body pillows. So, you know, he could go take a long walk off a short pier.
Looking back, I really should have taken the time to listen to that interview. It was very irresponsible of me to skip it. I continue to hope for the best for Jar, that this whole misunderstanding could be cleared up and after the drama we could just focus on reviewing media. Then came the...
I was hoping that once this passed, I would have been able to use Jar's channel again.
Backlash. Now with me being a stupid moron who put my trust in Jar, at first I'll admit my initial thoughts were, oh, these are a bunch of weird people who are just using the situation and Jar's reputation in the ACC to get attention. But after some time passed, I took the time to look into it. It was getting to the point that I could no longer avoid it, so I wanted to see what was going on for myself. I started seeing more and more videos detailing the things that were wrong with Jar's video.
It is so funny to get the commentary crossover. Like all the commentary streamers just absolutely obliterating Jar with hour-plus long coverage of his video, dissecting it word by word. This guy must have been sitting there watching it like it was Hiroshima and Nagasaki being dropped, dude.
When some of it was getting really alarming. I ended up learning more and more uncomfortable truths behind the backlash he was getting. How he didn't actually read the document.
I'm sorry, this isn't the first time Jar has been in drama that is absolutely ridiculous and insane. The fact that so many people would choose to associate with Jar despite his terrible reputation and just like terrible behavior with which he like goes around and treats people is like insane. Okay, because Jar has been nothing but terrible to tons of people, and yet people chose to surround themselves with him. I don't know what to fucking tell you. You're gonna put your hands on a hot stove? Like I don't know. Like, how did you get here?
Like he said he did, how he was simping for Cine Bear in a lot of nasty ways in that interview I skipped over, and how his research on many things was extremely off to the point that he could have caused very serious harm to Cine Bear's victim. Finally, I decided to look up a video going over the Discord chat logs, and after seeing everything for myself...
Oh my god, go Kato. Dude, this is like a best hits of like the ACC in the past year, dude.
Let's just say I was not happy. Seeing all this made me go through
very pog champ, another gas station attendant, very poggies.
A lot of conflicting emotions, and it made me really think about how I should talk to Jar about it. And so I got in a private call with him, telling him that I can no longer support him as a YouTuber, and I asked for my
Dude, he broke up with Jar.
Content to be removed from his spaces. But he asked me if he could keep the videos up until his response video for the money. And I decided to leave them up until...
That's absolutely insane. Okay, I'm sorry. I really don't think Zaid's old videos on Jar's channel were really raking in that much views that, like, Jar can pocket that much. Like, that's insane, okay?
Till it was ready. I believe that this money could have gone towards funds for the restaurant, but I guess there were other things he needed the money for. He also
Dude, this fucking restaurant.
decided for us to go our separate ways so my haters wouldn't use this situation as a means to harass me more. So this was around the time I started thinking of a new channel. This is where I uploaded that review of the Silent Hill 2 remake and went for a fresh start. I got a few more videos done, and with Jar still using my videos, I figured we were still mutuals. So I thought he could help me get a little traction by doing a shout out from my channel. I knew there were people in Jar's audience that liked my content because of the reception to my videos on Cuties and the Snow White remake. So I thought that maybe I could provide a new platform for them to watch content after what happened with Jar.
Dude, I gotta go find this fucking MisAnthro pony restaurant, dude. Alright? I'm missing out on like a hoof of a good time or something. I don't know. I know there's a pony word for that.
But then I started to think really hard about remaining on good terms with him after taking more time to process the situation. It was made harder by other things that were going on at the time, but I was also thinking about the severity of what happened. Finally,
It's called a clop. No, I don't. I think clop is a word for bad behavior. I think clopping is something you do with someone you like. So I don't know if I would clop to some food.
it got to the point that I just didn't think it would be good to be in his circle anymore. I told him to remove my content from his spaces immediately. I no longer wanted them on his channel. Shortly after, I made an edited version of my Cuties video, placed it on my channel, and let everyone know that I no longer wish to be associated with him. And if his response with receipts video is anything to go by, I made the right choice, as he turned out to be a vile, disgusting piece of shit who only cared about increasing the size of his—
What would MisAnthro Pony's restaurant be? MisAnthro Panini.
money pile. But in spite of this, I should admit to my own failings in this situation. I understand that not cutting ties with Jar from the offset was a problem. It was something I should have done as soon as he got the idea to defend Cine Bear at all. I blindly put my faith in him in a situation I shouldn't have, and I was wrong.
I was thinking that I would be able to ride this situation because I could really clomp it up with Jar.
The thing I've been discovering about myself recently is that when it comes to people on the internet, I am an extremely bad judge of character. I see
This guy is really funny.
these people who make good content, and I thought I could get to know them better through our shared interest in analyzing and critiquing art. I end up getting a little too comfortable around them, and then it comes back to haunt me when they turn out to be horrible, grotesque people in some shape or form. Toon Critic Y2K, a number of people in the Brony community, Lio Convoy in the Senate.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
Black Critic Guy. These are all just from the top of my head.
Oh my god.
And now
What is
Before
this?
all this happened, I really did think of Jar as a friend. I genuinely wanted to support him through thick and thin, and work with him to keep his channel active while he was busy with other stuff. But the more I looked into this, the more I learned how disingenuous his intentions were. He didn't care about the severity of the situation. He didn't care about clearing up any sort of misunderstanding. He didn't care about Cine Bear's victim. He didn't even care about Cine Bear herself. He did this specifically because he wanted a big YouTuber with a large following to owe him something later, because he thought it would benefit his rapidly decreasing pile of money. And I should have—
Okay, let's be perfectly honest here. When we talk about a pile of money, we're talking about like maybe at maximum 20K a year. Okay, at maximum 20K a year. Jar was not raking into views. He was not raking into money, all right? He was not making a lot. The guy worked a regular job on top of everything else, all right, and still had a roommate. California, many such cases.
known better than to put my faith in him. I trusted him in spite of how suspicious the situation sounded because I thought that's what a good friend is supposed to do. But I should have taken it more seriously. I said before that I don't like making anything sound like—
The concept here is that Zaid is like, my content was making Jar a pile of money. When he means a pile of money, he means all singles $100.
like an apology video because it doesn't work. It comes across as emotionally manipulative, and it usually opens the floodgates for people who want to bombard you with accusations of damage control. Even though anyone who's even remotely familiar with who I am knows how trigger happy I get when it comes to pedophiles and child predators, or any situation involving adults using children for sexual gratification. If I had known beforehand the full details of what happened, or if I saw the chat log sooner than I did, I would have never given a smidge of a positive thought to that horrible video. But if there's anyone in this situation I owe an apology to, it's Cine Bear's victim. I didn't know how to get in contact with this person. I don't know how to reach them on Discord, or if they have any other platforms.
Why are you trying to reach out to Cine Bear's victim? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is going on? Why did we just take a left turn to Crazy Town?
Can use to talk to them. I even tried looking them up on YouTube to see if they made a video talking about how this might have affected them. Then again, I understand wanting privacy with what they must be going through. So Cine Bear's victim.
I tried to reach out to the minor to make the situation better for them. Okay.
If there's even a 1% chance you come across this video, I owe you this. I was wrong to not speak up about Jar's video defending Cine Bear. I was wrong to not take this situation more seriously. I was wrong to not cut ties with Jar when I should've. My bad judge of character clouded my actual better judgment, and I do feel shame in the idea that I contributed to your stress by not taking action immediately. You deserved so much better. From Jar and from myself. For that, I am sorry. I hope you're doing okay. And I hope
This is alright, okay, alright. We don't need to whip ourselves over it, alright? Okay, it wasn't that bad. You did listen to the whole video, okay? I'm willing to bury that hatchet in the ground, alright? Why are you making it weird?
that in the future you'll be able to move on from this and find peace. I hope I was able to clear things up for anyone watching this. It's just that this situation may—
This guy talks with a hyphen between every syllable. Dude, he talks like one of those aliens you'd meet on Star Trek, dude.
made me feel a series of conflicting emotions, and trying to process them just made me feel depressed. I wanted to try and move on from it, as there were a lot of more serious and important things going on at the time. But I won't deny this was a failure on my part. After this, I'm certainly gonna work on improving my judge of character, because I really don't want to make this mistake again. Jar had a very large audience before he made that video. A lot of people who would have been more than happy to take it at face value. If anything had gone wrong, it would have been extremely damning. For Cine Bear's victim, and other victims of child predation. For what it's worth, it is—
This guy is just, his voice is just something. I know that's a really low blow. I know it is, but like, Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Oh, is this about the new Looney Tunes movie? Dude, did you hear about this? There was a new fucking Looney Tunes movie that came out to theaters, and it did terrible because there's no advertising for it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, this restaurant is gonna fucking close down. All right, man, you need to... This is getting ridiculous.
Before the video starts, I'd like to raise awareness on a friend's GoFundMe.
Dude, this is outrageous, dude. Holy shit. This is crazy.
Any form of help would be deeply appreciated. Thank you. Probably after Disney, I don't think I've seen an entertainment company having so much going against it in the last several years as Warner Brothers. From increasing the prices of their streaming services to...
And I'm sure they will be fine from increasing the price of their streaming service. I don't like it personally, but like it's a shitty piracy. I'm a fan in Minecraft. I like being a pirate in Minecraft.
Years as Warner Brothers.
Okay, but Diesel, I agree with the title. I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on the Looney Tunes. I'm not like clamoring for another Looney Tunes back in action. But, you know, if you're not going to use a legacy character, just like retire them or something.
From increasing the prices of their streaming services, to milking franchises for money, to removing content from HBO Max to the point it feels more like Disney content.
And that's true. I think it's really annoying that Max is removing a bunch of other stuff. Again, that's why, you know, piracy. Until you make it readily available and easily accessible to people, they're just gonna fucking pirate.
Since the only way to watch it is with a Disney Plus Hulu subscription, to their backwards merging with Discovery, to Cartoon Network's animation studio getting killed off and buried without a second thought, to fumbling the ball with multiverses so badly.
All right, well, to be honest, I don't think multiverses was ever gonna be like the next big thing, but you know, like these products and projects failing are very bad because lots of very talented and amazing people lost their jobs.
It makes me think I owe Nickelodeon All-Stars an apology to the complete and utter death of their extended DC universe after continuously failing to put out a
that was good. They needed to kill it. I'm glad it's dead.
halfway decent movie, to refusing that pitch for the Batman Beyond movie that looks like it would have made them more money than anything.
Are we gonna do? Yeah. I'd much rather complain about what is than what could have been.
Else they've been putting out recently, to greenlighting Velma for 2 seasons when 1 was bad enough, to the fact that David Zaslav can't stop being an insufferable dickhole for 10 minutes. This company has been on fire and definitely not in a good way.
I gotta be honest, I think Warner Media is okay though. I don't really think it's like falling to pieces.
But I think the biggest example of how badly this studio has fallen is how it's been treating what is arguably its most profitable brand. Lately, there have been 3 stories going on in the cartoon community that all seem to point out to one thing. Warner Brothers really seems to hate the Looney Tunes. The Day the Earth Blew Up was given a limited release in theaters because WB didn't bother to give it a proper marketing campaign, so they needed Catch-Up Entertainment to release the movie for them. Coyote vs.
Yeah, Dune and Barbie made a load of money.
Acme has been axed and delayed so many.
Yeah, Warner Media is a lot more than just the Looney Tunes and DC. You know, there's like all these like, you know, movies and like fucking Warner Media owns like some news agencies and shit. Like they're a lot bigger than their like film or animation departments. These are mega corporations that control all the media you see. Okay, like all the media you watch is like funneled through 3 or 4 different megacorps.
Times it makes Kingdom Hearts 3 look like an early Christmas gift, and the entire library of Looney Tunes shorts has been recently removed from HBO Max.
Again, hence why piracy is great.
Along with the original housing building being torn down. I know people will bring up how this
Oh, okay, that one I don't know.
HBO Max. Along with the original
pre-deadline, Warner Brothers is planning to tear down the building 131, the single-story building where Looney Tunes were once housed. The reason stated is to create more base camp space for HBO shows shooting on the lot. It's been absolutely abysmal the last few weeks for the Warner Brothers and how they're being treated. I mean, them taking down a building and replacing it with a new building for other shows is like, that's expected. Also, the building is looking kind of rough, so maybe it needed to go.
Housing building being torn down. I know people will bring up how this was always a problem with the company. It's not the first time Warner Brothers has mistreated the Looney Tunes or tried to turn them into something they're not. But these recent stories show how the hate for the Looney Tunes has gotten so out of hand.
I don't even think they hate it. I think that's too strong of a word in this situation. You know, is that like too much to say? Like to say that hate is too strong of a word in this?
Why would you even do this?
They clearly aren't prioritizing them in their like market strategy, which is a shame because I mean, you know, Bugs Bunny is great, but like, you know, there's a reason that we put them as like decals on our car and like on a t-shirt. They're like legacy brands that represent something else.
The Looney Tunes.
That represent a feeling of nostalgia now, I guess, right? I don't know. It's like it kind of holds the same kind of energy as like the Garfield car sticky things.
It is arguably the greatest series
of
mascots. Cartoon shorts of all time. They have been deeply cemented in pop culture as staples of slapstick cartoon comedy. Not even just...
Yeah, but like, you know, slapstick cartoon comedy is not as popular as it once was.
Slapstick. It's a collection of so many different varieties of humor. Satire, celebrity parodies, dark comedy, ingenious dialogue. It invented every trick in the book and no cartoon can possibly match them. It shouldn't even be possible for a human being to care so little about them. David has to be some kind of alien from another planet with no comprehension.
Dude, there's so many like properties and stuff we probably don't even remember. But you know how many properties sit in like storage, just, you know, held as like trademark and properties that are just never touched ever again. Okay, fucking a lot of that stuff you used to watch on Saturday morning cartoons gets to just sit there rotting forever. You know, and it's a shame that those things happen, but a lot of the times those things were never going to come back anyway, right? It's like I'm trying to think about stuff from when I was younger that I really enjoyed. Did anybody see Cubics? Anybody see Cubics, the robots show? That ain't ever coming back, but I love that. But you know, obviously, I'd like somebody to do something with that, but nobody gives a fuck about Cubics. You know, I mean, a lot more people care about the Looney Tunes, but I feel like people care about the Looney Tunes in a way that is different than like the comedy and media. Like, it's more like people like the platonic idea of Bugs Bunny rather than anything else.
Of quality with the way he looks down on them. It feels like an opposite effect that Nickelodeon has with SpongeBob. Nickelodeon is constantly shoveling SpongeBob down your throat, while Warner Brothers wants to purge Looney Tunes from existence. They clearly just see it as disposable kid stuff at this point.
They have other properties. Nickelodeon, not so much from what I know, right? Is that wrong to say?
Point, which if anything just shows you how much they don't understand their own brand. Looney Tunes is not children's programming. It never was. Looney Tunes was made for adults. It was played in theaters as adult shorts before the start of the real movie. This was made very obvious with the style of humor they went for. Not to mention all the innuendos that no kid was going to get the full grasp of. Hell, the amount of violence alone was pretty clear-cut about it not being kid stuff. Smoking, drinking, gambling, references to pop culture and political figures. Something that's either unsuitable...
I didn't spend... So, a lot of my... God, this is going to make me sound like such a pretentious asshole when I talk about it. So I spent a lot of time in like my media theory and criticisms classes doing two things, right? I studied a lot of Eastern film. So like, you know, Marxist cinema, which I'm certain is a loaded term, but there was a lot of communist directors from Eastern Europe making movies that wanted to talk about those things. I studied a lot of that, a lot of 2000s television, which sounds like a joke, but yes, I really did study a bunch of 2000s television. Stuff like post 9/11, how we reacted to that through our media. That was a big portion of my education. How people responded to the recession through media. So my media theory and understanding is that stuff. I'm not as familiar of the history of Looney Tunes. Diesel studied How I Met Your Mother in The Office. No, but I did study Undercover Boss quite a bit. I wrote multiple papers on Undercover Boss and tons of early 2000s media. And I also studied a lot of Silver Age horror movies and how people reacted with those, right? I watched a shit ton of that. You notice how Undercover Boss came out post the global recession? You know, there's a way to look at it. The Marxist way of looking at Undercover Boss is this, right? Basically that this media was coming out in an era when people didn't trust their bosses or the people higher up on the ladder in the financial world, right? And these shows existed as a way to bridge the gap and make people feel an understanding sense of like camaraderie along with CEOs of companies, right? Think about how many undercover bosses were actually CEOs of gigantic companies like Domino's Pizza and shit. Yeah, and that's also a great one to mention about the Looney Tunes, is that smoking was more accepted back then.
For children or something they won't understand.
But not to go on a tangent about Undercover Boss, right? But the idea that is academically discussed is that a show like Undercover Boss existed in a space where the 1% were basically trying to tacitly and implicitly tell people, hey, we're just like you, we're not so different, please stop protesting, kind of thing.
But no, it was kids' entertainment because it's a cartoon. By that logic, the Boondocks is kids' entertainment. Imagine being such a god-awful CEO that you want to get rid of the very thing that made your...
But yeah, it's like the smoking thing is a good point, because like the Looney Tunes existed within a cultural context that was very different than now, right? Violence in kids media is very different now than it was back then, right? It's like we don't really point guns at cartoon characters. You know, in the early 2000s, we have all those four kids redraws of like One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh, where they would take out the things that were like sharp-edged bladed weapons or like guns and stuff like that. It was a different time. Those things were colloquially accepted. You know, you would get that.
Company so iconic. I'm starting to think that Space Jam 2 was some sort of precognition of what WB was planning to do with them. The villain of that movie literally viewed the Looney Tunes as obsolete and wanted to get rid of them. David is literally doing the exact same thing right now. This is like Nintendo trying to get rid of Mario. At this point, the CEO needs to be shot because that is such a self-destructive business practice that your company will never recover from. They say they're trying to aim for an adult audience with adult content. So why are they getting rid of adult content? It just reinforces a point I was making in a previous video. We need to start prioritizing physical media like DVDs and Blu.
That's true. I 100% agree with that. I think, you know, the problem is with like, oh, we need to prioritize physical media is that it takes up a lot of space and people don't want to do that. We're living increasingly in like multifamily homes, so it's hard to have a space like that. Fucking the cost of a Blu-ray is like $30, dude. Okay. You can't tell people, hey man, go collect physical media, and then you go out there and you're like, holy shit, it's $30. You gotta fucking make that your like hobby. Okay, so a lot of people aren't gonna do that. And it's a lot of work to burn DVDs onto like a digital NAS. It requires a level of technological know-how, right? So it's like, yeah, that's important, but like not everybody can do it.
Blu-rays and actual game discs and cartridges, because making everything digital only is unreliable and dangerous because it puts a lot of material at the risk of suddenly becoming lost media. Imagine that you're a really big fan of, say, Angry Beavers, and for whatever reason, Paramount Plus just had it removed from their servers. Did you stock up on any VHS and DVD releases of the show before they started going for $50 a pop on Amazon? No? Well, you were just screwed. And look what happened to physical Looney Tunes media. Apparently this is what we get for supporting the official release instead of pirating it. Now you can't watch any of these classic cartoons unless you're willing to blow off several paychecks. Why
Yeah, it's why piracy's great.
Doesn't Warner Brothers have any faith in this franchise? Is it because Space Jam 2 flopped?
I get he's like making a really big fuss about Warner Bros. You know, it's like they're not like deliberately like, all right, I get it. They're obviously not treating the Looney Tunes well. But they just like it's like a cold calculated business decision. It isn't some like they're an idiot moron doofus who's like falling over backwards with the Looney Tunes or something. The Looney Tunes are just not even going to bring in that kind of attention anymore. It's clear. Like I really don't think they would.
Well, honestly, it might be a stretch to say that because this movie was a bad idea from the get-go. But so was the original Space Jam, and that one made a lot of money. It's not entirely Space Jam 2's fault because Warner Brothers always had this sort of problem. Whether it was Catstone Dance, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, or The Iron Giant, Warner Brothers is really, really bad at advertising something that apparently they were—
I don't even know if advertising is why some of those movies failed, right? Because like Iron Giant was like a critical like darling, right? So I'd need to look back on like the actual history of it. I know he is literally pulling it out of his ass and not looking it up. But I don't even know, like the landscape of cinema was just so different back then. You know, we're talking about like the 90s or early aughts. Anything that predates the Marvel Cinematic Universe format of filmmaking kind of world that we live in now is like, oh, people would like have an idea for a movie and then you make a fucking movie. Right? Space Jam was like a novel idea, a novel concept. What if the Looney Tunes were in real life and they played fucking basketball? All right? Like it just the world was completely different back then. You know, I don't know if the exact same kind of Space Jam, if it came out today, I don't know if it would do well either because it just doesn't I don't know if that would intrigue a modern audience.
Were willing to throw a lot of money into, but didn't seem—
Yeah, Iron Giant came out at a weird time when 2D films were starting to go out of style. Yeah, what else came out around then? Like Treasure Planet and the Atlantis movie. Like both of those bombed, and tons of people are like, those are amazing 2D like adventure pulp films from Disney.
to have a lot of faith in the project. With Space Jam 2,
But, you know, CG films at the time were considered cutting edge. Stuff like Toy Story. I think, shit, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think Toy Story was the first fully CG animated film, right? That was a big fucking deal. That was a big fucking deal. All right. This was the first time that it looks good enough. Correct. Okay. It's nice to know that my education is paying off right now. But that was a big fucking deal at the time. You know, we had finally reached a point where CG was good enough that it wasn't going to creep out the mass audience. People wanted to see Toy Story, not just for the novel concept, but for the fact that this was the first fucking CG animated movie. That was a big fucking deal. Like, like the technological leap at the time was just outrageous. But these days, we're not interested. CGI doesn't outrage, it doesn't evoke anything, the concept of good CGI. Bad CGI, certainly. We have a very good discerning eye for it, right? Just we talk about we want 2D animated movies. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. That hasn't really been tested, right? But there's like tons of things now that are different about the cinema landscape than they were back then.
they put way too much faith in LeBron James' popularity to get people interested. And they never really did anything to promote the Looney Tunes before they started shooting. The quality of the movie certainly didn't help, but Warner Brothers also didn't bother to properly advertise it.
But okay, and Space Jam 2, didn't that come out during the pandemic? You know? Yeah, so no, like, of course, it was pushed out onto streaming services like same day. People weren't going to the movies. These movies relied on theatrical releases. In fact, I know the film industry is in a really bad place right now because of the day one releases to streaming platforms, which is a problem, right? It's hard for films to make a profit now, which is why you see a lot of these, like it's why they're not taking risk anymore, right? And it's like, you know, like you got to look at these films being released within the context of what's going on at the time, because that also determines the success of the film. All right.
Now we have that happening with The Day the Earth Blew Up. Why did they make this movie if they weren't going to be bothered to advertise it? Especially when it's...
I don't even think they were going to fucking I don't even... This looks like... Look, okay. The minimum length of time for a film to be in theaters is 90 minutes. Okay? The Day the Earth Blew Up is 91 minutes long. I don't think The Day the Earth Blew Up was meant to be a theatrical release. That's what I think. I think they pushed it out to a theatrical release because they went, damn, this Looney Tunes animated movie that we made for a streaming platform isn't going to make money. Like, maybe we should just push it out the film, see if it makes anything in the theaters, and then put it out on a streaming platform and try and recoup those losses. That seems more likely.
Estimated budget.
Because, you know, animation is expensive. One, that's 2D animation, very expensive. You know, and fuck, what else has Warner Brothers released this quarter? Has Warner Brothers released any other movies this quarter? This is what? This is like the end of the first January, February, March. Yeah, so it was the end of the first quarter.
It is only $15 million. Let me repeat that. This movie only cost them $15 million to make. Do you have any idea how much bank you could have made on this if you bothered to give it any sort of advertising?
I don't think it would have done well. I don't think it would have done well. I'm sorry.
15 million is a drop in a bucket compared to how much the average Hollywood movie costs to make these days. There's no way you...
Yeah, because this wasn't meant to be a Hollywood movie. There's no way with a budget of 15 mil that this was meant to be a theatrical release. No way. I don't think this was, okay? Because it's 91 minutes long.
You couldn't have made your money back 5 to 10 times over if you bothered to promote it, instead of outsourcing it to some indie studio. That is such unfathomable logic that it gives me a migraine trying to process it. YouTubers with less than 10,000 subscribers did more to advertise this movie than Warner Brothers themselves.
Yeah, advertising isn't free. The budget usually includes advertising. Yeah, I know I didn't see any advertising for this, but guess what, guys? I don't go to the fucking theaters. And I certainly don't watch movies that would have an advertisement for Looney Tunes The Day the Earth Blew Up, right? Like, I'm not going to fucking watch, like, day one release of, like, Sonic in the theaters. I haven't been to the theaters in, like, maybe 2 years, okay? that's how little I've gone to the movie theaters, because the experience is just really bad.
Why did you make this movie if you had...
And like, imagine going to see a children's movie, okay? Because that's where this would be played, by the way. Okay, this would be advertised before a children's movie.
No faith in it. Oh wait, let me guess. You just wanted to do this movie as a tax write-off. So you made a bunch of employees...
Which is probably true. That's another thing. Theaters are overpriced. So for the consumer, they're overpriced. But if you're a theater, you need to determine what you're going to fill up your screens with, right? So it becomes like this cost balance, right? Do we put 6 theaters with the new Marvel release, or 5 theaters with the new Marvel release, and then the Earth blew up? What's going to make you more money? The 6 releases of the Marvel movie. You're going to get more people in there.
Fulfill contract obligations to get a slush fund, even though releasing these movies would have probably gotten you more money. God.
When I saw Sonic 3, children laughed when Maria died in my theater. Jesus.
What a piece of shit. Imagine being the people who worked on this and finding out it was just part of David's plan to preserve the size of his wallet. Wasting Eric Baza's talent alone is insulting. He's a really talented voice actor and David is just using him for his own benefit. How is this fuckhead still around? How is it that hard to fire a CEO that no one likes and is actively losing them money? He's the...
Well, I don't want to be that guy. I know I'm being like... I'm being a debate grapist right now, chat. I'm doing that. I know I'm doing that. But it's just like what is the CEO doing? Like, I understand you don't like what he's doing with the Looney Tunes, but like, how's the company doing? You know,
type of person who is constantly messing up on such a cosmic scale, getting himself tied to the track.
I think the people who are mad about multiverses aren't the prime demographic that Warner Media is targeting with their properties. Right? I feel like it's a different person. I feel like when they do the market analysis, they're not looking for the MisAnthro ponies. They're looking for the guy who buys a Funko Pop and like just kind of knows about the Looney Tunes and like wants to go do something with his family.
So much that you're in a position to save him, but then you remember all the bullshit surrounding him and you think to yourself, you know what? Let the train hit him. He makes some of the most incompetent...
Dude, that's an outrageous thing to say.
Moronic, morally corrupt, and grotesque business decisions I've ever seen. Everything he does is completely...
Dude, you guys think this is bad. Wait until you guys find out what, like... This guy's gonna lose his mind when he finds out what, like, you know, car manufacturers do. Have you heard what that Tesla guy's doing these days? Crazy.
Wrong. And now he's trying to bury the franchise. That's the only reason why the company got as big as it did. He's practically shouting into a microphone, fuck our history. We don't care about the talented people from 80 years ago who put their hearts and souls into making these timeless works.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that most companies actually don't care about the history of the company. And then they also, you know, sometimes they want to sweep it under the rug, especially if it's a little racist.
Of art that got us on the map. Let's just put it in the vault for no one to see.
Dude, can we get another theatrical release of the South movie, the old animation from Disney where there's like tons of like blackface?
Regardless of how much it hurts our business, we're talking about a guy who, out of all the projects he could have greenlit, he chose a Jumanji ripoff starring Jack Black.
Dude, I know the Minecraft movie looks like shit. Song of the South, thank you. I know the Minecraft movie looks like shit. I think the Minecraft movie is going to make fucking hella bank. All right. I'm very willing to admit that I am wrong when the Minecraft movie comes out, but I have a feeling that the Minecraft movie is going to do fucking gangbusters. Because like they're targeting like a kid demographic with it, even though the movie looks like shit. I think a lot of people are going to see it. My niece wants to see it because she plays it.
At this point, Warner Brothers should just release the Looney Tunes into the public domain. A crappy...
They would never do that. Yeah.
...movie would be better treatment than this. Not knowing what to do with the IP is one thing, but actively trying to erase it from your spaces is...
I don't know, man. I feel like this guy is like... I don't want to like gatekeep, but it's just like, it does really help to like spend time learning about like the system in order to critique the system, right? Like, it would help if you did, you know. I'm not saying like I'm an expert at it, and I don't want to be that guy who like gatekeeps, because then I'm being the same exact thing I'm complaining about. But like, would it kill you to pick up a book about it or something.
Acceptable. Looney Tunes is not just some cartoon. It is the sacred symbol of cartoon comedy. Its influence is still felt across the board to this day. The impact it made is timeless, and its significance as one of Warner Bros.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the Minecraft movie on Discord with my friends. I am not going to watch it in the theaters.
Most important franchises is on a grand scale, more so than even Batman and Superman.
You know, it's interesting. It's crazy how the best time in the world is exactly when the person who's complaining was 12 years old.
The utter neglect of them and what they represent is nothing short of disgusting. Playing in people's faces who've already shown their love for them for decades, and treating them as disposable when they're anything but. Entire generations of artists who perfected this style of comedy and art.
Seems like this guy barely knows animation history about the things he cares about. He is not going to learn about the system. It gives you such a rich understanding of those things, though, you know?
Work. Just for it to be thrown into the trash compactor is completely disheartening. It deserves so much better than what's been done to it. It feels like something a lot of people are doing these days to gaslight others and defend the modern garbage the industry has been putting out for the last several years. Oh, all those things from the 1900s and early 2000s were never good. You're just old and prejudiced against anything new, giving us lackluster products.
Well, again, none of these things are new. You're making a straw man, right? Because these product, like, this is who listen, this is who Snow White and all these live action remakes are targeting, right? They are targeting the parents who watched it when they were kids, and they go, oh my god, I loved that when I was a kid. Let's have a day out, go to the movies, and take little Susie with us. She'll love it. And that's who it is. Okay, it's targeted nostalgia. That's a great way to put it. It's targeted nostalgia. All right. Like, well, hold on. Why bring up Disney So White? The topic of this video is WB. It's his boogeyman. Little Susie is soy pogging. Don't get me wrong. Kids will recognize if the media is like really bad and boring because they won't want to fucking sit down and watch it. But like, you know, like, it's not like unironically, it's not for you, Zaid. And you know, that's just what it is, right? I know you want, like, you like the original, and that's fine. I like the originals of many of the things, but I do think it is serendipitous that the things that you think are amazing also happen to be the things from when you were fucking 12, right? Because of, yeah, everything was fucking amazing then, right? Like, there's plenty of media and stuff from the early 2000s that holds up well. There's also plenty of media that doesn't.
And right, while muddying their business with all these practices that end up causing more harm to the industry. For what it's worth, I do appreciate that there are people out there fighting to keep the Looney Tunes alive and relevant, but it feels like a really uphill battle. Warner Brothers still has full control over the property, and right now they seem more interested in riding the high of whatever they thought they were getting from that Discovery merger. And with the way things are going right now, the situation isn't going to improve anytime soon. Unless the Looney Tunes is placed in the hands of someone who actually cares about it, it's just gonna remain in a corner of irrelevance.
I don't even believe this guy likes the original Snow White. He just knows the new one is hated and uses that. Yeah, I think so too. I don't think he actually likes the original Snow White. I don't think there are many people who are big fans of the original Snow White. I'm certain there are. But I feel like those people probably don't care about the new Snow White and are probably interested in things like tea etiquette and dresses. The fancy kind. Balls. Like, if you're someone who's, like, really interested in Snow White and you really like it, you probably, like, fucking go to Ren fairs and you have your partner dress up as a fucking gnome. Like, it's...
And having to say that about the Looney Tunes of all things is nothing short of depressing. So until next time, fuck David Zaslav.
That's really corny. Yeah, Snow White was groundbreaking for the time, sure, but it's not my fave. Oh boy. I'm really I'm so curious what some of these are, but I also don't want to, like, guys, I really try. I don't want to be that guy because I'm being the guy who comments on media he hasn't seen, and there's too many people that do that, and I really don't want to be that guy, and I'm saying don't be that guy. But I'm really interested to hear this video essay on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Before the
Dude, this fucking restaurant's going under, man. I'm sorry.
He's also a real buzzkill. And by the way, he roller skates.
They're air shoes.
Wait, did he just break the fourth wall?
No, he's talking to Sonic.
He's also a real buzz. This guy right here is Shadow, and he's
Okay, first of all, Sonic is breaking the fourth wall because he's narrating to the audience right now. Let's not even...
kind of my biggest rival. He's also a real buzzkill. And by the way, he roller skates.
They're air shoes.
Wait, did he just break the fourth
No, he's not breaking the fourth wall. Sonic's breaking the fourth wall because Shadow is talking to Sonic.
wall? Oh my god, that's the funniest shit ever.
This guy's a cornball, dude. I can't believe this.
Being a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog is nothing short of a roller coaster. It's a never-ending cycle of going up and down with games that are fun to play, games that are horribly unplayable, games with well-written story and characters.
Dude, this Sonic fandom. I was watching a video recently. This guy was talking about why do all the fucking Pokemon games look so bad? And it's just like, it must be rough to be a Sonic fan.
And stories that just happen to be badly written fanfiction with a budget. Over the years, the inconsistency of this franchise has led the fandom to having a lot of mixed feelings on how they should feel about the series. There's really no end to how chaotic it gets. However, there seems to be something of an anomaly to this that all fans seem to recognize. Something that everyone agrees on 100%. And that is how Shadow the Hedgehog really has it out for Tails.
Does he? I've never thought of that as like being a main feature of Shadow's character. He's like a pensive, moody asshole who's very like struck and stuck in his guilt, his survivor's guilt.
Shadow, what are you doing here?
Fox hunting.
I thought he said fuck hunting. I was like, whoa, Shadow, I didn't know you said that. Okay, but I also want to point out that this is over like fucking billions, like not billions, but like at least hundreds of hours of Sonic the Hedgehog content, right?
Character in the Sonic franchise, which I honestly don't think was something Sonic Team expected to happen when they introduced him over 20 years ago. An edgy counterpart to Sonic with a more dramatic backstory compared to the rest of the cast. And yet somehow, ever since the release of Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow the Hedgehog has been hailed as one of the greatest video game anti-heroes from Sonic fans worldwide. Maybe it's our sense of nostalgia for the older game.
Trillions of hours of Sonic. Damn, don't recommend a greater hell to me.
Maybe there's things about Shadow's backstory that we picked up as adults that we couldn't recognize as kids. Or maybe it could just be that Sonic Team thought more deeply about this character than we realized. Shadow's story is defined by tragedy and rising above your misfortunes, learning to look forward instead of staying stuck in the past. Themes
I not to Flanderize Shadow, I think a lot of people like Shadow for really ridiculous reasons and not for any of these nuanced reasons. Like the things that people like Shadow for, and when I have conversations about Shadow with my friends, people like him because he's the guy who swears and shoots guns and drives motorcycle. And I know that that is the Shadow the Hedgehog game, and that is a contentious video game. But it really is one of those things that kind of makes the character, right? Where it's so ridiculous, people are like, that's fun, right? But at the end of the day, Shadow is kind of like a tribal tattoo, you know?
that are portrayed through his deeply intricate relationship with Maria Robotnik. Most of us already know the basics. Gerald Robotnik was a brilliant scientist desperate to save his ailing granddaughter and tried to create
These will tread lightly.
an ultimate life form that would cure all forms of sickness. And part of this involved research on alien DNA from Black Doom, a tyrannic alien overlord bent on conquering the universe. Shadow was created as a result and formed an inseparable friendship.
Yeah, his iconography in a standalone game is a tribal tattoo.
with Maria, but then guns stormed in to shut the research down, where Maria helped Shadow escape at the cost of her life. Since then, Jiro plotted a revenge plan to destroy humanity and use Shadow to do it. At first, Shadow believed that Maria's dying wish was to avenge her death. But through the help of Sonic and friends, he remembers that Maria's actual last wish was to protect humanity. He seemingly sacrifices his life to prevent the space colony Ark from destroying the Earth.
That's a great way to explain it. Literally why Keanu is a perfect for him. It's the same reason I like John Wick. Looks cool, shoots guns, perpetually in a state of guilt, arguably bisexual.
But he mysteriously returns as
and that's true. It's very based how Shadow likes Latinos.
and his army invade the Earth. Uncovering the secrets of his origin, Shadow defeats Black Doom and restores peace to the Earth, all while vowing to move forward with his life while quietly remembering the good times he shared with Maria. It's a pretty standard villain-turned-hero story on a surface level. Nothing bad, but nothing all too complex. And unfortunately, due to Sika's mistreatment of the character, a lot of people have mistaken him for an edgelord. Thankfully, in more recent...
He is definitely an edgelord. Even in the more recent stuff, I don't know what to tell you.
In years, there's been much better portrayals of the character that reflect the intent of Team Sonic when he was first introduced. Iterations that give him more personality and motivation than the...
People like him because he's an edgelord. Yeah, I know there was a time in Sonic media criticism. That is a corny sentence to say, but there was a time when Shadow the Hedgehog was not liked as a video game. Okay. But it's kind of come around again where people look at it and they're like, that is actually the coolest shit ever. You know how like when you're like young, you kind of grow out of something and you're like, bleh, gross. And you get a little older and you're like, oh, actually that was fucking fire. It's literally that meme where it was like, I fucking hate that thing. And it's the guy is like literally the coolest thing ever.
Surface level stuff we make fun of. And it's safe to say that 2024 has been one of the biggest years for the character, possibly the biggest in all of Sonic's history. From Shadow Generations to the animated Origins series to his appearance in the third live-action Sonic movie, to even his own spotlight in recent Sega announcements. It really has been the year of Shadow. Seeing the character come so far in the last 23 years makes me feel nostalgic for those earlier days of his character's presence. To look back on the beginnings of Shadow the Hedgehog and see how he became the best Sonic character of all time.
Dude, the year of Shadow is way better than the year of Luigi.
His first scene with Eggman freeing him is a pretty intimidating introduction. It showcases the power he's capable of, and it's given greater effect by giving
okay, I gotta be honest. This is a little stupid. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've definitely heard, I've watched people criticize Sonic and like talk about it as like a property and it not be. I just can't take this guy seriously. I don't respect his opinion, is what I'm saying. Nah, Diesel, you pulled up the vid. Go watch. Have you guys ever watched? There's a guy who does game critique. His name is Tsnakera. And sometimes he'll cover Eurojank, but he's also done some reviews of Sonic because he's actually a huge Sonic fan. He has really good, nuanced opinions on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Player control over him as soon as the cutscene ends. After that, he explains the power of the Eclipse Cannon, and how installing the Chaos Emeralds into it...
I don't need a plot breakdown of Shadow, dude. This is killing me.
will grant Eggman enough power to threaten the entire world to his will. It looks pretty cool with the way the two team up, but it also helps to foreshadow something else that's gonna happen later. The next time we take control over Shadow, he has a PTSD flashback about Maria's death, remembering her last words as he promises to fulfill what he assumed was a wish for revenge. For the moment, we're only given a small glimpse into his history, evading the military with Maria helping Shadow to escape. It's easy to tell that he's suffering from some sort of survivor's guilt. He feels responsible for her death, and the only way he believes he can make it up to her is by honoring her memory by fulfilling her supposed dying wish for revenge. It establishes pretty early-
This guy spent days working on this.
on how Shadow isn't trying to get revenge for himself. Rather, he's trying to fulfill a promise that he made to his only friend. This was a really good way to show off Shadow's motivation to the audience without making him edgy. How he's driven by his friendship with Maria rather than his own baser impulses. And his first level, Radical Highway, shows us how determined he is to carry out Maria's legacy through the actions of the player. This is basically Shadow's own version of Green Hill. Our introduction to what the character is capable of through gameplay. He's just as fast and powerful as Sonic, with all sorts of tricks and techniques to travel
he's a
through obstacles and
yapper,
fight
okay?
enemies.
So he's repeating
It's also a very
himself.
refreshing
He's
experience
just
as
re-explaining Shadow's plot. Yeah, it's like, I want to hear what makes the character such a good and nuanced character, not a recap of his plot.
The level that begins his journey of revenge while reminiscing on his lowest point. A really good turn for the story and the gameplay. And it gets even better.
Listen, I don't want to be like, I'm totally Flanderizing Shadow the Hedgehog, but I like Shadow for the same reasons I like Raiden and Revengeance. Okay? It's like, it's literally just this is a really fun thing, and that's it. Right? It is really that simple, and it's almost like it's like a juvenile enjoyment, but it's like amazing because the execution is so perfect, right? Where it's like Shadow the Hedgehog is exactly what you would think of when you were a kid and you made your own Sonic OC, right? He is that. He's like the first thing, right? Do it right now. Google your name followed by the Hedgehog. Okay, I guarantee you it's an edgy hedgehog character in the Sonic the Hedgehog style, right? I think that resonates with people a lot. I sent you a meme. Literally this. God damn.
When he has his first encounter with Sonic, demonstrating his power with a chaos.
Yeah, Shadow is definitely a product of his time. There is no other word. Like, you cannot, I'm sorry, you can't separate Shadow the Hedgehog from nu metal. Okay? It's like, Shadow the Hedgehog goes with fucking Disturbed t-shirts and a Limp Bizkit CD. Okay? That is Shadow the Hedgehog. All right? He's literally a Limp Bizkit CD.
Emerald in hand. Not only is he capable of the same speed as Sonic, he can even outpace him, and he also possesses the power of teleportation. Shadow is unlike any opponent Sonic has faced before, showing how out of his league he is when compared to him. It's a really good part of the story that displays Shadow's power while establishing him as a rival for Sonic, building anticipation for the next time they meet. As the
Fred
plot
Durst the Hedgehog. Shadow and Dante became friends at the Corn Show in '99. I was there. That's true. Dante is another great example of those kind of characters, right? Like, you don't even need to be like fucking like the depths that those characters have to them makes them interesting in stories, but why you like the character ultimately kind of is those things that, you know, everybody knows, or things that people colloquially associate with the character, like the Shadow Loves Latinas thing.
Shadow and Eggman make an alliance with Rouge the Bat, and they make their move to collect the other Chaos Emeralds on Prison Island before it blows up. Eventually, Shadow gets a transmission from Rouge explaining how she's trapped, causing him to have another flashback to Maria's death. After a moment of hesitation, he rushes to rescue her in my personal favorite level of the game, White Jungle. Now before we go forward, there's something I should delve into to explain the depth of this part of the game. During the final story, it's
okay, he is actually just explaining the plot. If I click to the end of this and he's still talking about the plot, I'm gonna lose my bananas.
Against them. This is the most important cutscene in the entire game.
Never mind. Holy shit. This guy made a 23-minute video where he didn't explain what makes Shadow the best character, and just yaps about why Sonic Adventure 2 story. That's it. Literally pee-pee poo-poo video.
Believing it would be the last game they would ever make. And instead of going, meh, let's just get this over with, they put genuine effort into—
Alright, this is 19 minutes of you re-explaining Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic Adventure 2.
Shadow being the best character in all of Sonic was completely by accident. If Sega knew they were still going to exist in—
Okay, this motherfucker just retold the story. And then it's like, Shadow's the best character. I'm sorry, I think I could actually do a better video essay on why Shadow is fucking peak. Okay, because I like Shadow. Like, I'm sitting here arguing with myself because I don't like him, and I need to argue with myself in order to reaffirm that I like this character.
Making games after this, I don't think they would have put so—
This is just being a woman at the video game club simulator.
much passion and dedication into Shadow's storyline. They were fueled by the notion of going out on a high note, and put real thought in—
Literally, Shadow likes Latinas fucking Knuckles is black, fucking Rouge the Bat boobs, Omega robot, cool robot gun, Sonic run fast, and he don't care. That's why they cool. Simple. That's about it, yeah.
Karen to this game. And as silly as the plot can be with things like everyone being a stupid colorblind moron who can't distinguish between blue and black, it's still pretty well constructed from a logical perspective. The pacing and order in which events happen is
Something about Tails. Well, the thing is that I don't... Tails is like... he's just like there, you know, he's a little guy.
well put together, even if you're not seeing it happen in chronological order. And because of how well Shadow's character is drenched in mystery, you don't see the big twist coming. Sonic Adventure 2 has quite possibly the perfect Sonic story. It's heavily muddied the image and perspective he's supposed to have, and it also in a very steady and believable manner. His development as a character is outstanding, growing and learning from a personal journey about revenge.
You should make a video on Big the Cat. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. 30-minute video about Big the Cat fishing.
And moving on from the past. Even the music in his levels is cleverly symbolic. They emphasize industrial instrumentals
Froggy.
to reflect his dark nature and his mysterious backstory about being an artificial life form. In many ways, this is by far the best iteration of the character to this day, as it set the standard for what Shadow the Hedgehog is supposed to be. Due to Sega's horrific treatment of the character over the years, it's heavily muddied.
I don't think they've treated Shadow poorly. I think they've treated Shadow pretty well. I think Shadow might be one of the best treated characters in the franchise, to be honest.
Perspective he's supposed to have, and it also ruined how many fans perceive him. That horrible game from 2005 completely.
Oh my god, this guy is like, what is this? Did this guy come, like, is this guy like from the wart of AVGN or something? What is this?
Completely annihilates all the maturity and subtlety from Sonic Adventure 2 in a...
I'm sorry, guys, did he and I play the same game? Because Shadow is just as angsty and ridiculous in in Sonic Adventure 2. Okay? Like he was just as angsty in both. Now, obviously, when Shadow takes out the gun and he cocks the SMG like a shotgun, yes, that is preferable. Like that is absolutely outrageous, right? But I don't feel like it's any different than Shadow prior to that.
Desperate attempt to appeal to a demographic of retarded.
Speaking of characters that are poorly treated, Rayman is actually probably one that's been poorly treated.
Teenagers, and since then they continuously fumbled the ball with who he was, making him a darker version of Sonic for the sake of marketing or turning him into some sort of Vegeta clone. Shadow,
he is totally, dude, I like that. I like Vegeta. I like Vegeta in the same way I like Shadow. God damn.
Was not a darker version of Sonic. He was a completely unique character with his own vision and desires. His storyline in Adventure 2 was profound and ripe with brilliance.
Yes, okay. Oh.
And for some reason, they never continued that concept of his character and just replaced it with something bland. Was there any hope of the glory days of Shadow coming back? Well, it looks like there just might be a possibility of that happening. In the last few years, we've been seeing much better interpretations of the character. From the Sonic Boom cartoon to...
He is quite literally being angsty in all the screenshots you gave. How is he... He spent none of the time showing how Shadow was... Okay, listen. If you're going to do a video explaining why Shadow was bastardized by Sonic Team, you need to say, this is what made Shadow great in Sonic Adventure 2. And you want to get to the end of that, okay? Then you want to show how they bastardized and treated the character poorly, right? And then you want to do a last part where you show, here's how they fixed it. And this is what Shadow looks like now. And how they've gotten this interpretation correct based on the original interpretation of Shadow. Another thing, too, right? So that's one criticism I'll give to you. Another is that characters change with time, and who they are at the beginning of their inception is different from like the current time, right? So Vegeta was a character at the beginning of Dragon Ball, and he's a very different character now in Dragon Ball Super and like in current iterations and stuff like that, right? It's a kind of a different guy, but kind of the same. but he's a different person and he's in a different place, so his vibe's a little different.
Sonic Prime to his most recent outing in Shadow Generations. The biggest step in the right direction has easily been Dark Beginnings, an animated miniseries that explores Shadow's relationship with Rouge, Omega, and Gun while thinking back to his old friendship with Maria. Seeing Sega finally giving Shadow more proper respect in recent projects gives me hope that maybe we're back on the right track with how we're supposed to view him. Shadow was never an edgelord
Vegeta's definitely also been Flanderized, that's for sure.
Who just wanted to act mean to everyone. He was an introvert recovering from trauma who learned to develop compassion and open himself up to other people.
Right, okay. So if his whole plot line is how he's an introvert who's trying to open up from his trauma, if you never have him move on from that as a character, 20 years removed from fucking Sonic Adventure 2, but like as a player, I don't want to play Sonic Adventure 2, have that story, get to the end, Shadow learns his lesson, he starts to open up, life gets a little better, we kind of go on and we move on from that, and then I play like a recent Sonic game and he's still acting that way. I don't want him to act that way. I want him to be a little different.
And with the third live-action movie around the corner, I'm left in anticipation to see how they portray him in the film. Will they get his character right? Or will they just flanderize him into being a revenge-obsessed edgelord? We can only hope for the best now that the character's future...
Okay, the thing is that everything that this guy says, right, is like, he puts out an opinion about how he likes Thing from old when I was a child, right? That's what he does, right? And then the new thing comes out. I don't like that new thing. I already know that he doesn't like the new Shadow. Okay, I already know that.
Is on the line, given the influence and popularity of the film trilogy. If they get it right, Shadow's reputation will be restored. If they get it wrong, it'll probably be muddied forever. Everything is writing on it, and with Sonic Adventure 2 being used as its source material, it has a lot to live up to. But with that said, it's still worth looking back on the glory days of—
Like the thing, this guy is so fucking stuck in his baby 12-year-old brain, okay? I haven't seen Sonic 3 yet. Clearly, I need to go see it. I've heard a lot of good things. This is the Chris Chan Blue Arms moment, only it's with Shadow instead of Sonic. Yeah.
of Shadow the Hedgehog, remembering why people loved him in the first place while yearning for those old days when Sega understood him. He's hailed as the best character by—
it's like, I don't know how Shadow's freshman debut is just his best interpretation, you know? It's just like, this is the first time they're exploring the character, and they're like, yeah, they got it right the first time. Don't ever fucking iterate or expand on that at all. Like, maybe there was things they didn't tackle with Shadow to begin with.
Many fans for a reason, and it's always satisfying to see him receive the respect he deserves from the community. The red and black blur had his time in the sun before, so maybe there's a chance he'll have it again. In this, the Year of Shadow.
Like, it's just so fucking funny. Oh, God, this guy. No, okay, now you do Year of the Silver.
Something more important than this. Why is every other Sonic character called X the Y, but Amy is just Amy Rose?
Isn't Amy also a hedgehog? So I guess you couldn't have her be Amy the Hedgehog, because then it would sound like she's related to Sonic, and that would be gross, right? Because she has a crush on Sonic, and incest would be bad. So she can't be Amy the Hedgehog. Then it would sound like she's related to Sonic. There are other X the Hedgehogs. Yeah, but they don't have a crush on Sonic. But Sonic and Shadow are both called X the Hedgehog, and they're not related. Listen, I'm telling you right now, that was the thought process that went to their head. Yeah, she was Rosie the Rascal back then.
Hello, ladies and
I am not watching a review for a movie I didn't watch. I gotta actually fucking... I need to understand the media that this guy is critiquing in order for me to critique it. I'm being an annoying asshole. This is why Rose Chu and Sonichu are my preferred characters. Oh God, this is a stream of all time. This motherfucker screamed about Fluttershy going back to being shy after learning her lesson 1,000,000 times in the old times. He has no place to say Shadow needs to be introverted and traumatized now. Oh my god. Welp, I'm gonna send you over to Beckett now, chat. Tell my husband hello, and also tell him where's Internet Explorers, okay? Oh my god.